San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Tuesday to everybody out there in America's finest city. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. We are the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a lot of Padres baseball to discuss today. We got a lot of different angles to look at this. We got some clips from Bennett Woods from earlier in the day, talking with a lot of the different players for San Diego. So we got a lot to get to today on the Braden Surprenant Show. We're looking forward to it. We got more later on. Again, it's going to be a lot of Padres talk, obviously. We'll talk about San Diego FC later on after their big weekend win. We didn't get to that yesterday. And we got tons of other stuff that we want to dive into. Of course, the Padres are in action again today. Padres will be in action at around 12:10 again, 12:05 officially, 12:05 as they take on the Chicago Cubs. Marco Gonzalez will get his first start of spring training going at Shota Imanaga. So we'll see that later on today. But want to discuss and start with kind of what we have seen so far in spring training. A lot of different names getting moved around, a lot of different, conversations to be had in terms of who's making the team, who's not, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it may be. But right now, the Padres are in that early phase of spring training where you're not going to get a lot. You're not going to get a whole lot when it comes to trying to figure out what's going on with the roster. I mean, we've played a couple of games. They started on last Friday. They've played Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They've played 4 spring training games. So you'll see some early bright spots, which are great. You've seen some negatives at so far, but you just don't know what, these players are working on. You just don't know, what the different situations are when it comes to different outings out there. And I really want to talk with JP Sears. I see JP Sears got a lot of heat, after the outing he had yesterday. I think a lot of people have asked the question, what did they see in this guy as he comes in? But, the outing itself wasn't that spectacular, and he's got an uphill battle when it comes to trying to make this roster. But you're going to get some of those. You're going to get some of those outings. The other kind of big storyline I thought from yesterday, Miguel Andujar. He homered off of a left-hander, Drew Rom, as the Padres ended up coming back to beat the Brewers 7-5. They had early spring struggles, but they were able to put together a couple of runs. And as Tony Gwynn Jr. said it yesterday, and Gwynn and Chris, he said the important part. He was basically like, hey, you'll take him when you get him, right? Take him when you get him. Miguel Andujar, homered off left-hander Drew Rom, exactly the matchup the Padres signed him for. They gave him a 1-year, $4 million deal. He's got a career 807 OPS for his left-handers, and organization is banking on him being a lefty masher. And you know what? You got to see that on full display. Still early in the year. Who knows if he could keep that up, but that's a good sign for the Padres, knowing that the guy that they brought in to hit lefties smashed a lefty yesterday. Other established big leaguers to reach base yesterday. Ramon Laureano walked. Tatis walked. Luis Camposano got a pinch hit single. Padres 40-man roster. Position players 10 for 62 through the first 4 spring training games. Obviously early, but a noticeable lack of production. I do think that the approach is slightly different. I think the approach has been better for the Padres in these at-bats. It doesn't seem like they're chasing out of the zone. Maybe they're being a little bit too patient, but they're getting used to what Steven Souza Jr. is doing and what he's doing as a coach and adjusting to that. So you're going to see some mixed results. We'll see what the Padres do against the Cubs today, but the roster battles are starting to heat up. We talked about Miguel Andujar having a good day yesterday. Again, he's battling for more playing time, not necessarily making the team. JP Sears obviously wasn't very good. We're going to get to him in a second. But a lot of the roster battles starting to heat up. I mean, you signed Ty France to a minor league deal. He went 2 for 3 yesterday. He's making a case to play first base, coming off a Gold Glove year last season. Carlos Rodriguez, who doesn't have any MLB experience, is now 4 for 7 this spring. Samad Taylor, he's a non-roster invitee. He's 5 for 6 with a double and stolen base. Romeo Sanabria continues flashing opposite field power. He had an opposite field home run earlier in the week and bases clearing opposite field double in the game yesterday. Jose Miranda has played 298 MLB games. He is now 5 for 7 with 2 walks. Strong early showing despite also being on a minor league deal. The theme here is the non-roster players are outshining some established 40-man roster bats early in camp, and that's really no surprise. You know, Tony Gwynn Jr. brought it up yesterday about the situation with, well, JP Sears didn't have that great of an outing. JP Sears, this is his first actual pitching stint since last year, right? I mean, all these guys are playing for the first time in a long time. That's the big reason why you do spring training, right? You get back in the swing of things. So for the players that are established, there's not this early sense of, I got to make a big start to this deal. I got to make this team. I think the mindset's different. And if you're one of these players that's on a minor league deal or a non-roster invitee, you are trying to make as much noise as possible as early as possible so you stay around. So I'm not overly surprised that Jose Miranda is 5 for 7 and Romeo Sanabria is off to a good start. And guys like Samad Taylor are 5 for 6 with a double and a stolen base. And Carlos Rodriguez is 4 for 7. And Ty France is 2 for 3. I think they're pressing the issue because they know they have to swing their way on this team. They got to play well to get on this team, as well as the fact that they're going against guys that might be easing into it or might have not pitched in a long time, like a JP Sears. Let's talk about JP Sears. Obviously, for rotation competition, not a great start to JP Sears' campaign to try to make the roster. He recorded just 2 outs. He allowed 4 runs. He gave up a home run to Andrew Vaughn. He allowed a 2-run triple to Jet Williams. He's competing for a rotation spot. Not an ideal first impression. Again, who knows what they're working on? Who knows what he has what he was trying to get accomplished by the end of the day. I know you look at the results and it didn't look very good because he got pulled out of the first inning, but you're going to have some of that for a player that hasn't played in a long time. So let's get to the other part of the pitching staff. Minor league, Carter Lowen cleaned up the first inning. David Morgan, who is a projected high leverage arm, retired all 3 batters in debut. Mason Miller threw his second scoreless inning, topped at 100.7 miles an hour. Velocity slightly down from his prior outing, but you don't really need him throwing that hard this early in the season. Wandy Peralta worked out of traffic for a scoreless frame. Wandy Peralta's looked pretty good so far in spring training too. Jeremiah Estrada escaped bases loaded jam in debut. Garrett Hawkins threw a scoreless ninth, and Garrett Hawkins has been really making some hay here for the San Diego Padres, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. He is the 2025 minor league pitcher of the year from last year. He's off to a pretty good start to spring training, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Bullpen depth starting to flash. Rotation question marks still remain after yesterday. You're going to see another piece to the puzzle at pitch today and Marco Gonzalez. A couple of things from yesterday too, from the recap. The ABS challenge system, catchers are doing really well right now. Freddie Fermin successfully challenged 3 ball calls. The Padres are 4 for 4 on ABS challenges. Luis Camposano 2 for 2 on challenges. Is that an extra incentive to play? I don't know. Is that the new pitch framing, Frank? being good on ABS challenges?
It might be.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Padres catchers excelling in pitch framing and now tech integration. There was some, trade reminders from yesterday, too. Former Padre Brandon Lockridge went 2 for 4, the home run for the Brewers. I don't know if that's really going to bother you too much. Padres traded Lockridge to Milwaukee for Nestor Cortez and prospect Jorge Quintana, which is now the organization's number 2 position prospect behind Ethan Salas. Early optics of that trade, not really a big deal. I mean, Brandon Lockridge, he was the opening day starter for the Padres last year in left field, surprisingly enough. Now on deck, Marco Gonzalez making his spring debut against the Cubs. He has made 162 MLB starts. He's coming off of 2024 flexor tendon surgery. He's on a minor league deal. It's the veteran depth versus health gamble narrative for Marco Gonzalez today against the Cubs. And we'll see what he does against Chicago. I don't think it's that big of a deal, though. I mean, we'll see how rusty he is. I mean, he's coming off of a flexor tendon surgery in 2024. He hasn't pitched in a very long time. I mean, we could say what we want about how JP Sears did yesterday. Tony Gwynn Jr. mentioned he's a little rusty. I would imagine Marco Gonzalez might be a little rusty today. So how he makes it through, what Craig Stammen and the pitching side of things are looking for, going to be different than the actual results that you see in the game today. So no reason to panic. And again, it's the first week of spring training. So you're going to have a lot of weird things happen and a lot of things not go your way when it comes to games early in the season. Let's talk about the lineup a little bit. The question is, because the 40-man roster is not hitting well, they're hitting $161 combined, but a lot of the guys not on the 40-man roster are doing really well. Is this a sign the Padres offense is deeper than we thought? Or is it a red flag that non-roster guys are outplaying the 40-man bats? We'll discuss when we come back. Just getting started. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego Torero fans, time for your weekly University of San Diego Toreros update covering baseball, men's basketball, softball. Toreros have been making waves this past week, and there's plenty to break down heading into this next week of games. For baseball, this is the big program for USD on the men's side. They're running a 5-game winning streak, now highlighted by a Tony Gwynn Legacy Tournament sweep. They look dominant in local competition. Sophomore CJ Moran, transfer from San Diego State, has been unstoppable this weekend. He got off to a slow start. He led the Aztecs in hitting last year, comes over to USD, off to a slow start. He was hitting under 200, but had a 450 on base percentage. That told you everything you needed to know about whether or not CJ Moran was going to turn it up or not. Multi-hit games in back-to-back contests, 4 RBIs in consecutive games. Oh, and by the way, his first Toreros home run against his former team, the San Diego State Aztecs, on Sunday night. Hit that ball into the Toreros bullpen in front of Raggers Rail at Tony Gwynn Stadium. Not bad. CJ Moran, you are a Torero.
Yep, absolutely. And fitting right in. And this whole Torero offense has been very, very good especially over the Tony Gwynn tournament. 15 runs in consecutive games, 10 walks, 8 stolen bags, most since 2022, 2025. Scoring in bunches, controlling the middle innings, and manufacturing runs even when hits were scarce. This was a very, very dangerous team throughout the entirety of the Tony Gwynn tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the offense has been legit. They outscored their opponents 30 to, 9? 30 to 9 in 2 games.
Between Creighton and San Diego State.
Andrew Ganas looked pretty good as a transfer from CSUN, who went to Patrick Henry High School, another local kid, back playing for the Toreros. He had 3 hits and 4 RBIs against the Aztecs. Tanner Kern has contributed. Tanner Kern, I tell you, Tanner Kern has leaned into too many pitches. Because he's getting hit. He's been hit a lot of times. He was hit a lot of times this past weekend, and 2 of them almost went to review. He got away with the flipper out there. So Tanner's got to be a little concerned. He's got to be a little bit more cautious about that.
He's a freshman.
And
he's
sticking
learning.
his elbow pad into the strike zone to get hit by a pitch. Drake Fries earned his first win of the season. 5 strong innings, bullpen cleanly closed games. And for Drake Fries, made a start against Charlotte. It was his first appearance in 20 months because of Tommy John surgery. He had a very interesting story, and he's back in his second start, did really well. He gave up the 3 runs, only in 1 inning, but really settled in, got his first win of the season. Good to see Drake Fry's back.
Yep. Congratulations to him. And you will have the call for the next game, which will be tomorrow as we're recording this on Monday, against UC San Diego. Yeah,
the game will be on ESPN Plus. I will not be doing that. Ted Mendenhall usually does the ESPN Plus version. I will be on USDToreros.com tomorrow on Tuesday. So it should be a fun time. Men's basketball. Senior day was over the weekend. USD fell to LMU 77-65 in their final home game and senior day. They celebrated 7 Torero seniors, including Tenari Lane and Adrian McIntyre. Despite a late comeback, LMU shooting efficiency, especially from 3-point range, proved too much. And they jumped out to the same lead that they had last time. Now, LMU, the last time these guys played, outscored the Toreros 17-0 to get the game started, led to a 29-7 start. This time, 21-7. This time it was 21-9 at a break. It's same start. LMU shot the lights out. At one point they're shooting 80% with 10 minutes to go in the first half. It's tough to overcome that, but back-to-back overtime games for the first time in team history. A couple of games ago, they had record-setting 15 3-pointers this year over Washington State. Grad guards consistently led scoring in key games. To kind of talk about some of the season highlights for a team that will now be without their head coach because they're going in a different direction, Frank.
Yeah, we got that news late last week that Steve Lavin was not going to be back with the team going into next year. For the Toreros right now, you got 2 games left on the season. You've got the Oregon Beavers coming up on Wednesday, and then you're closing the season against Portland on Saturday night. Both of those games are going to be on the road.
Yeah, Oregon State. And these are teams, again, here's the thing. USD basketball, as poor as they have played the last couple of games, could still play for a first-round bye in the West Coast Conference Tournament with a couple of good games. We'll see what happens. Steve Lavin is still staying on as the coach and is going to coach through the end of the year, through the end of the West Coast Conference Tournament. Long Beach State did that with Dan Monson. Got him to the NCAA tournament. You know what? Crazier things have happened in college basketball. In softball, strong weekend at the Purple Classic. They improved to 7-7 overall. Softball team for USD claimed a 6-3 victory over North Florida. Taylor Johnson, local product, 3 RBIs, 2 doubles, consistent at-bat performance. Haley Mulligan, Caitlin Wynia, and Shanice Hogue-Lacey all contributing key RBIs. Charlie Johnson threw 6 strong innings, allowing only 1 run, earning the win. Team showed a hot start approach, scoring multiple runs in the first inning. Are we Sam on the phone today, Frank?
Yes.
I don't see his face.
Sam is on the phone.
What's going on?
Well, I mean, that's a positive.
Wow. It's so rude, Sam. I can't believe you allow this behavior from your fellow New Yorker. What is this? Bring on Sam Levitt. He joins us on his David P. Shapiro line. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorney, is helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. That's like probably the weirdest intro Sam Levitt has ever had, but since we have him on all the time, I feel like it's necessary. Are you going to tolerate this, Sam? This slander from Frank?
What you hear from Frank is the result of 2 individuals who spent far too much time in a small room together over the course of a few baseball seasons. So I understand what Frank's saying. I get it.
We're friends now.
I'd be sick. I'd be sick of me too.
That explains why you gaze through the window when you come in the studio every once in a while.
Well, I do miss Frank now. I do. I don't see Frank nearly as much as I used to, so I do miss Frank.
I miss you too, buddy.
All right, let's get to Padres baseball then, Sam. We got obviously we got a lot going on now. We have games being played, and since the last time we talked to you, they've played 4 games already. What has been some of the biggest takeaways from? Not necessarily you, but like what you've gotten from these press conferences since games have started to play, and what the coaching staff in particular has liked from the performances of their team the last couple of games.
Yeah, well, I think the good news is that they have a number of guys that are hitting. Obviously, Jose Miranda was the standout from the first couple of games. He had 5 hits and his first 2 Cactus League games, and is an interesting guy, can play all over defensively. And you look at what he did in Minnesota his rookie year. I mean, at one time, he seemed to be, one of their core pieces of the future, and then had a few tough years. And now he finds himself on a minor league deal with the Padres. But to me, and I talked to him a little bit today, he's an interesting guy. I don't know that necessarily he'll be on the opening day roster, but he does strike me as somebody who would be a candidate at some point during the year when you need him. I think he provides versatility, and he's got experience and has done some good things at the major league level. So that was certainly one of the highlights of the first couple of days. Randy Vasquez the other day looked great. He's throwing hard. Now, his velocity had trended upwards all year last season, and towards the end of the year, he was throwing 96, 97, and he came right out of the gate at spring training throwing 97, which is really encouraging. And I think he continues to do all the right things. I think the interesting part about Randy is, they've admitted he certainly has an inside track to that number 4 spot, but they haven't handed it to him. They will not include him in the trio of King, Musgrove, and Pavetta. So they've essentially said that they like the way Randy responds when he's challenged, and he has to, really kind of pitch his way onto the roster. So he was very impressive. It wasn't a great outing for JP Sears yesterday, but one thing that I think you'll hear a lot from Craig Stammen as these guys get their first outings in the actual Cactus League games is, and I think this is a reflection of Craig being a former player and B, a former pitcher, is there's a little bit of, hey, it's your first outing of the year, and different environment they haven't been in a while, shaking off rust. And I don't know that they're going to put a ton of stock into these initial outings, especially for the guys that are competing for rotation spots or even, a back end of the bullpen type spot. So they've got some guys hitting. Romeo Sanabria is another guy who's had a really nice couple of moments. He's not, competing for a spot per se, but he's an interesting young player in the system that has power, that did some good things at AA last year that I think could be part of the team's future, or as we know, a potential trade chip down the road. So, again, I'm kind of going through the list here, but Tristan McKenzie struggled a little bit. So a number of different things to pull away, but I don't know that this early, with still a month of games left, that you're putting a ton of stock into what's gone on, but certainly some standout guys so far on the good side for sure.
I want to talk a little bit more about that because, the spring training, we gave our disclaimer last Friday about do not overanalyze the results of the stats and the records and everything like that in spring training. It's more about the process, and the coaches are looking individually at every player on how they go about doing certain things. But I mentioned, I'm sure it's when it comes to the negatives, I'm sure there's a lot of, we're working on this, and this. But for guys like Jose Miranda, who's off to a good start, I just think to me, I define the players that are battling for spots that do well statistically. I feel like that's just icing on the cake. Is that kind of how they evaluate this? I mean, Jose Miranda's off to a really good start, but there's a lot of things that they want to make sure he can do in order to make the team. You can't negate some of these performances these guys have done and be like, oh, well, it's spring training. Otherwise, how do you evaluate who can make the team and who can't?
Yeah, I think, another part of that, Braden, is, again, not to downplay what Miranda's done, but he's also done it in the second half of games where you're facing a lot of other teams' minor league guys, right? So, it'll be interesting to see as the guys leave for the WBC, and I think there will be guys like Miranda getting more starts and facing other teams' starting pitchers. That to me is probably the better evaluation point. But to your point, there's a balance, right? I don't think you can make too much of it. I don't think you can neglect, what they've done. They can only face the guys that they're facing. And, for Miranda and Sanabria, these guys who have had some really nice moments offensively, they are facing guys in the second half of these games, which especially this time of year tends to be the minor league guys. And sometimes you're even getting guys from minor league camp, depending on the situation. And I also think for the major league guys, you never want to overreact. Jeremiah Estrada got out of an inning yesterday, but he was kind of all over the place and had a lot of trouble locating. You never want to overreact to that stuff because you just never know even what these guys are working on, right? Like if a guy is secure in a spot on the roster, I mean, he could be working on different stuff and new stuff that he tried in the offseason, a new pitch, a new element to his delivery, whatever it might be. And this is certainly the time to do it. So I do think it's a delicate balance for both us and the staff of how you certainly take the results into some account, but not all of the picture. And I I'll also say, like, just to use JP Sears as an example, like, yeah, was it a great outing for him yesterday? No, it obviously wasn't. Didn't go the way he wanted, I'm sure. But, you also have years of major league starts for JP Sears to evaluate on, right? And then you can get into the option talk and how that might play into things. So, I think it's a delicate balance, to put it simply.
That sounds like, I mean, everybody gets dealt a different hand of cards. For JP Sears, he has options and he's got multiple years of control. And they have invested in him and being a Padre. I mean, they're going to find a way to make that work where, guys like Tristan McKenzie and Walker Buehler might be more on a performance base than anything else.
Right.
And, I think it's more clear to talk about, JP Sears is going to work on, so they're going to get him right because they're going to use him at some point. He might just start in AAA, but a guy like Tristan McKenzie, he got off to a rough start to spring training. He can't really afford to have too many more of those because, again, he's not going to the minors. He's going somewhere else if he doesn't make this team.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, right? I mean, we talk about spring training performance, and you're right. When you talk about JP Sears, the fact that he has options left, well, yeah, you can certainly make the argument of, well, that probably plays against them in the opening day roster conversation because you're going to have a bunch of guys, and Matt Waldron I think was a good example of this, of guys that are out of options who, if you don't want to lose them, then you're going to have to find a way to get them on the roster. And you could say that about McKenzie, you could say that about Buehler, you could say that about Waldron. So, but to your point, like, JP Sears, you're probably going to need him at some point, even if he's not in your rotation on opening day. You're probably going to need him, and I would say a fairly decent chance that he's a fairly important part of your team, right? We just know how many starting pitchers you typically need. So you're right, for guys like McKenzie and Buehler and Waldron and these guys vying for a spot who you can't just throw down to AAA. Yeah, it would seem that their results in spring training are important, but Braden, even beyond that, I mean, we've done this long enough now to know that the spring training results, again, are just part of it. I mean, stuff and metrics and what they think's going to play, I mean, that's certainly part of it as well. So, like I said, it's a balance, I think, of all those things.
Padres have been doing well with the ABS challenge system, especially the catchers, Camposano, Freddie Fermin. They've been kind of on a tear right now. Do you think they're going to add that to the Baseball Savant page, Sam? How do you think the Padres have done with the ABS challenge system in actual games now?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, Luis Camposano went 2 for 2 in the Cactus League opener. Yesterday, there were a bunch of challenges that were kind of way off, and they were strikes by a lot that the Padres were successful at. I do think they should add it. I do, because I think it is very quickly going to become a real skill for a catcher, and yet another thing on their plate that they have to consider and train on, I suppose, and be good at. But I do think it should be on a Savant, on an MLB stat portal. I do. I think we're going to know.
Baseball reference.
I think we're going to know.
What's his success rate on the ABS system? I think it's fair.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's going to become an important part of the catching game. I do. And look, I think on one hand, and we may have talked about this, I think on one hand, it's going to be a very, very minor change. I think it's going to be fun. I don't think it's going to impact the way we watch the game very much. But on the other hand, I do think it's going to be more present throughout the game than we realize, because you're going to have situations, no doubt, where you have hitters or catchers, challenge early in games, lose them, and then you're sitting there in the late innings in big spots, on a call that clearly, should have been the other way, and you could challenge, and you won't have them. And if you think that you guys aren't going to be talking about that at some point for some team, come the regular season, the morning after a game, I think you are. I think that's going to be something that we see. So it's going to be an important part of the game for a catcher. So I do think we should know their success rate, and it will become, just like framing has always been a skill, and receiving and calling a game. I do think that challenging will become a part of their skill set, and something we evaluate.
We're talking with Sam Levitt live in Peoria, Arizona, as he gets ready for spring training. The Padres are going to be taking on the Cubs over at Sloan Park, which I'm sure that's where Sammy's headed towards very soon. How's the presentation of the ABS system been in stadium, you think, for the fans and for yourself? I mean, we get a little bit of it on TV. We got a lot of webcasts, obviously. It's not like the full production, but what's the presentation been, and what's the timing on everything? How's it play into the fan experience, at least, and what you have witnessed the last couple of days?
Yeah, well, we've seen quite a bit of it now going back to last spring training, right? Because they had it in spring training last year. So it's, it's not the novelty that it was last year. I think it's pretty quick. The only thing that I personally would change is I don't think the umpire needs to do this whole thing where he steps out in front of the plate, turns around, makes a whole announcement. Like, everything about the process is pretty quick. The helmet tap is quick. They've done a nice job on the video board of getting it up quickly. The animation of the ball reaching home plate does not take very long. And once you see where the pitch landed, we're right back to the game. But I don't think the umpires need to make this whole show of the announcement like they're, NFL referees, NBA or better yet, they don't need to make the whole show like it's a challenged call. Not an ABS, but you know what I mean, a replay review of a play on the bases or whatever it might be. I just think, like, the umpire can say, like, you don't have to turn around, turn on your mic and say, the catcher is challenged. I think we could speed it up that way a little bit, but aside from that, I think it's been pretty good so far and pretty seamless. And look, obviously, when the season starts, this has never been done in the actual major league stadiums and with the crews that work there, and whoever is, for example, I know at the complex in Peoria, there are a couple of people in there that's their job, is to run the ABS. So I assume it'll be something similar at the major league ballparks, and I would imagine there might be a little growing pains and things to work out. But for the most part, I think it's been pretty good.
Last thing for you, Sam, and this is kind of a generic spring training question, since we are, still in the early parts and before people start heading out there for the weekends and might be making their trips out there. I know there's rules in terms of lineup to make sure there's enough, everyday starters and everything like that. It seems like the home games you get more, the away games. Do you know the exact rule, or like have you seen the pattern? I forget what the rule is off the top head, but for people that want to go watch games and want to see as many of the starting Padres as possible, I think it's better to do it at home, right? Like isn't that you only need like 2 or 3 in the lineup on the road?
Yeah, for sure. I would say my advice for people planning to come out to Peoria, or thinking about it, trying to figure out when is the best day to actually in the games, see the big guys, the Mannies, the Fernando Tatis Juniors, etc. I would say for sure, especially this part of spring earlier, you're looking at home games. Those guys typically don't travel much during spring. Maybe as we get later, they'll travel more as they're trying to play more back-to-back. Now, obviously, this is a World Baseball Classic year, so that makes it a little bit different as well, kind of what it'll look like when they get back, because they're just going to have a level of at-bat that they typically wouldn't have, with the WBC. So who knows what happens when they get back. But like, I'll give you this week, for example, for people that are planning on coming out. Today's lineup, obviously, in Mesa doesn't have many big names.
It's not the playoff
starters.
lineup they threw out there against Imanaga in the fall.
No, it is not. So, but I will tell you that tomorrow, back at home, I'd be willing to bet that you're going to have a fairly opening day looking lineup tomorrow. You never know how exactly it looks. You might miss a guy here or there, but I'd be willing to say tomorrow at home, after all those guys don't play today, that tomorrow will look very, very regular season-like. Then you get to the interesting ones where it's Thursday, Friday on the road. Could you see some guys go on the road for one of those games so they don't have 2 off days? Maybe. maybe, but no guarantee of that. And then, I'd probably say that Saturday back at home, you'll have a very opening day looking lineup. So, if you want to see the big guys, and I guess if you're driving out here and you want to have a guarantee of it, this week I would focus on Wednesday at home and Saturday at home. And I think you're a little bit of roll the dice, as far as seeing the stars of the Padres on the road. So that's kind of where we're at this time of year. And I'll also say I always encourage people, if you're coming out to Peoria, do not just show up at noon and go to the game. I really encourage people, go to the backfields, see those guys warming up, see them take BP. Your level of access, what you see is very unique to spring training in this time of year. And I personally think the backfields is kind of the best part of the whole thing. So, get there early in the morning and at least a couple hours early, and make sure you catch some of the backfield action before you head over to the stadium.
Sam, we appreciate it. I know you got to get going to Sloan Park, so have a good time at the game tonight or this afternoon, and look forward to talking to you on Thursday.
All right, guys. Sounds good. Thanks.
Sam Levitt joining us on the David P. Shapiro Sam Levitt hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys helping good people regain control of their future. When charged with the crime since 2010, visit davidpshapirolaw.com. World Baseball Classic also throws a wrinkle in there. The World Baseball Classic teams' first games in exhibitions are March 3rd, where you're going to see them all play MLB teams out here in the United States, at least the ones that are scheduled to play out here in the pools in the United States. So we'll keep you updated on that. We'll talk about the lineup for the Padres in just a little bit when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. Standing Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan. Tyler Reddick, not just hot, he's historic. 1 week after winning the Daytona 500, Reddick followed it up with a dramatic double overtime victory in Sunday's Auto Trader 400 at Echo Park Speedway, becoming the first driver in nearly 2 decades to win the first 2 races of a Cup Series season. The last to do it, NASCAR Hall of Famer Matt Kenseth back in 2009.
Yeah, absolutely. Elite company. It's very, very hard to win the Daytona 500 plus the next race that comes up after that. And now that the next race that comes up after that is at a reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway, now Echo Park Speedway, that's basically turned into like a shorter, smaller version of Daytona and Talladega, where it is just a crapshoot. It's all about drafting. It's all about being in the right place at the right time and not necessarily how your car is handling. It's even more impressive, honestly, that Reddick has been able to do this. And he did it with damage, too.
Yeah, he started from the pole after qualifying was rained out, led the race best 53 laps, but late in the race, his number 45 Toyota got caught up in a 9-car accident. The right front fender was mangled. The team had to tape the car up in 39-degree weather just to keep it together. And Denny Hamlin, who's part owner of this team, described it as looking like Carnage City. But it didn't matter. On the field, on the final overtime restart, Reddick zigzagged and somehow muscled his way forward, getting a huge push from Joe Gibbs Racing's Chase Briscoe, cleared teammate Bubba Wallace, and held off the field by just 0.164 seconds. 2 races, 2 wins, completely different styles.
Yeah, he was able to control a little bit at Daytona after he got past the big wreck on the final lap, and this time he had to fight from the middle of the field and really work at getting this win. A lot tighter confines around Atlanta Motor Speedway as well. So it's positioning and timing, grit, car control. He's won it all. He's won both races in very different styles this year.
Don't overlook the teamwork angle here either. Daytona, Riley Herbst delivered the key push. At Echo Park, it was Briscoe, another Toyota driver, helping shove Reddick to the front. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace led for 46 laps and looked poised to win before a late move up the track opened the door for his teammate. He finished 8th, but 23-11 Racing still leaves Atlanta sitting 1st and 2nd in points, with Reddick holding a 40-point advantage.
Yeah, Reddick is off to an incredible start this year. And Michael Jordan said it best. It's really fun to be a part of 23-11 right now. And just think,
it should be.
He's 3-0 this year. He won the lawsuit against NASCAR. He's won the Daytona 500, and now he's gotten the win at Echo Park, and people still call LeBron James the greatest of all time.
I don't see LeBron James winning NASCAR events, if you will. At Echo Park, 12 cars finished within 1 second of the winner. 9 different leaders led double-digit laps, 14 total leaders overall. The racing was tight. It was chaotic. It was strategic. Drafting mattered. Patterns mattered. And execution mattered. Carson Hocevar made a daring solo move late, but couldn't find drafting help when it mattered most. Ross Chastain finished third. Shane Van Gisbergen scored his best overall finish in sixth after being in two separate incidents. But again, the headline belongs to Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, absolutely. He did not just he did not just survive damage. He didn't just capitalize on chaos. He absolutely controlled the moment. And now he's doing something that we have not seen in this sport in 17 years by sweeping the first two races of the season.
And coming up next, Frank, it's a trip for the Truck Series to St. Petersburg Street Circuit coming up on February 28th. But what else is on the docket for NASCAR coming up?
Yep. So the St. Petersburg Street Circuit, which is the traditional starting point for the IndyCar Series, they are going to be starting up this weekend as well at St. Pete. This will be NASCAR's first trip to the airport at St. Pete. The Craftsman Truck Series will run there on Saturday, the 28th. That'll be at 9 a.m. on FS1. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will be running at Circuit of the Americas on Saturday, on the same day, Saturday the 28th, at 12 p.m. Pacific time. That will be on the CW. The Cup Series will be the next day, will be Sunday from Circuit of the Americas. That'll be a 12:30 p.m. Pacific time start on Fox. But coming up before that, though, will be the opening for the IndyCar Series. That will be from...
All our guests are brought to you by SDCCU, and the SDCCU fan hotline is not big bank banking, it's better. Sam Levitt was just on the SDCCU fan hotline as his coverage is brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys. Let's get to some other Padres news out there and some other Padres conversations. I wanted to answer that question that we talked about going into the break to get into Sam Levitt. Is the Padres offense deeper than we thought, or is it a red flag that non-roster guys are outplaying the 40-man bats? Frank, I think this question is the epitome of spring training.
Yes, 100%.
It is the epitome of spring training because I think both areas of that, they're playing differently. You know, like they're just playing differently. If you look at the guys on the 40-man roster, the percentage of those guys making the team are a lot higher. Anybody disagree with that?
No.
So the 40-man roster players, I mean, these are going to have all the guys like Manny and Tatis and Bogarts and Jake Cronenworth and, you know, everybody that is probably going to make the team. Do they have the pressure during spring training where it's like, I got to get off to a good start? No, they don't. They don't have to get off to a good start. Who cares? Right? They just need to get ready to be able to, they need to be ready to play by the time March 26th rolls around. If these guys need to play by the time, you know, the World Baseball Classic rolls around, sure, go ahead. I don't care if they're ready for the World Baseball Classic or not. I care that they're ready for March 26th and the Detroit Tigers. So from that perspective, if they're taking a little bit longer, they have more leeway to work on individual things per game. Right? So it doesn't surprise me that they're hitting a combined 161 in 4 games. By the way, how many of them have played every game? Not a lot. It's been kind of a back and forth. I mean, today, we talked about today's lineup with Sam. It is not the lineup that they threw out there against Imanaga in the playoffs. Not even close. Bryce Johnson, Nick Castellanos, Miguel Andujar, Sungmoon Song, Nick Solak, Taylor, Mason McCoy, Reyes, Duran. I mean, some of these guys we haven't even talked about yet this year. But then leads into the conversation about the backup guys, right? And again, it's the depth thing. These players, the non-roster invitees, they have to get off to a good start if they want to just survive the next couple of weeks before they start making cuts and start moving guys down to minor league camp or releasing or putting on weight, whatever it may be. they don't have the luxury to work on things in at-bats and get off to slow starts. They have to come out hot. So the question is, do the Padres have more depth in the lineup, or is it a red flag that the 40-man is hitting 161 combined? I got news for both. Neither's probably the case, Frank. It's probably neither. It's probably like, no, you probably don't have extra depth. And two, no, it's not really a red flag yet. They've played 4 games. I mean, there's going to be articles about like how well certain lineups are and how certain guys are playing. I mean, I think Andujar hitting a home run against the lefty yesterday is significant, right?
Yeah, that's
you brought
important.
him in to hit lefties, and arguably the first chance he gets, he puts it over the fence. That's a legitimate, like, okay, this is nice. But other than that, Ty France going 2 for 3. Okay, he's forcing the competition. Jose Miranda doing well against future minor league pitchers this year. Okay, well at least he's getting hits against them. But it's usually like the narrative right now is the annual. This happens every year. The annual best lineup ever spring narrative. Every spring, teams sell the idea that this is their deepest, longest lineup in years. The Padres are leaning into that belief again in 2026, as you get from some reports. I mean, what else are they going to say? Core of the 2025 offense returns after finishing last season strong. That's a positive. Messaging from camp centers and lineup length, no easy outs, 1 through 9. I've heard this from every team ever in baseball, Frank. Is this anything different?
No.
No easy outs. We want to grind out at bats, 1 through 9. That's everybody. Craig Stammen emphasizing collective production over individual stat lines. Well, I like that for the regular season. I don't really care about that in spring training. Collective 9 rather than just 9. I mean, like the Padres winning yesterday, they did it like late in the game when it doesn't matter anymore and like there's no stars in it. It doesn't move me at all. Trying to have the goal of no breaks for opposing pitchers. I think this is all great information and great philosophy and great, offensive mindset going into the season. I don't necessarily think this is worth talking about in spring training.
No, and a lot of the depth that you're seeing is from guys that really have no shot at making the roster. And speaking of whether or not they're going to make the roster, Tirso Ornelas was able to clear waivers. He's still at Major League camp. He's just no longer on the 40-man roster. So he's still going to be around. No, it's way too early. I mean, you're talking about, we were saying it yesterday, 5 for 6 for Jose Miranda is fantastic. It was 2 games. Every player is going to go 5 for 6 over a 2-game span at some point over the course of the season.
Yeah, they're gonna do it over the season at some point in time.
Yeah, so it's not it. You can't. This is reading way too much into everything that we said. Don't read too much into, because it's spring training. It's the first weekend of spring training.
I don't think it's going to be based on results, but I will say this. If you start writing out the lineup on paper, though, you could make the argument that the lineup is deeper than it's been.
Yes.
Like, you have Ramon Laureano being back is huge. It's huge. I mean, not having him in the playoffs, I think, cost them. I really do.
Yes. That
thumb injury, it was a thumb injury or something like that? He got a hand injury. Yeah. He got it like 3 days before the playoffs started or whatever it was. Him not being in the lineup in the playoffs hurt the Padres. I think a lot of people would agree with that. He hit in 6 different spots last year in a Padres uniform. He's already batting leadoff and second this spring in the games that he has played in. He hasn't played with the top 4. I mean, that would be interesting to see Ramon Laureano bat leadoff maybe. But he may not permanently stay in the top third. I mean, versatility is key when you want it. When you're talking about what Craig Stammen mentioned about how he wants 1 through 9 to be tough every single time, versatility is a big factor in being able to accomplish that. So after the trade deadline arrival for Ramon Laureano, he really flipped that bottom of the order. First 23 starts, he mostly hit 6th and 7th at 333 with 6 home runs. Bottom 3 hitters post deadline hit 260 with a 736 OPS. The pre-deadline bottom 3 hit 217 with a 602 OPS. The impact wasn't just individual numbers. It lengthened the lineup structurally by having Ramon Laureano on the team. The reality of this lineup still starts with the core 4. Padres' ceiling is obviously tied heavily to Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis Jr. Those 4 could realistically occupy the top 4 spots all season. If they don't produce at a star level, the depth might not even matter. Was that not the narrative going into the season last year?
More or less, yeah.
It's the exact same narrative. It's like, oh, wow, we have Jason Hayward and Martin Maldonado and Yuli Gurriel at the bottom of the order. They got to produce, but if the top 4 ain't producing anyway, it doesn't even matter. 4 players alone can't carry a team in October. But the supporting cast, the question is real depth of replaceable parts. And you're talking about Freddie Fermin, Jake Cronenworth, Gavin Sheets, and the additions and role players of Andujar, Castellanos, Camposano, and Sungwoo Song. I like the supporting cast way more this year than I did last year at this time. Freddie Fermin hit 244 mostly in the 9th spot after the deadline. He was starting to play every single day. But he outperformed every other catcher in the same role. Did he not? I mean, he's an upgrade to whatever you had before. Jake Cronenworth, career high 367 on base percentage last year. 400 on base percentage in 49 games, hitting 8th. I think Jake Cronenworth at the bottom of the lineup is huge for a lineup with depth. Then you got the Gavin Sheets factor. 326 stretch from mid-August to mid-September, produced while bouncing between 4, 5, and 6. Additions and role players expected to matter. With Andujar, with Castellanos, with Camposano, with Sungwoo Song. If the 5 through 9 hitters are league average or better, the Padres all of a sudden have a very dangerous team offensively. I think this really shows lineup strength more than spring training talk. I think it's a little different. You want to talk about the results so far? Yeah, that's going to fall on deaf ears. I'm not going to really buy into the results of 4 games in spring training, the 161 average they have combined for the 40-man roster. But when you want to talk about what this lineup is and what it can do and what it did last year when it got lengthened with guys like Laureano and now moving Jake Cronenworth lower down in the order and Gavin Sheets, you break it down from that perspective, yeah, this team's got depth. This team's got a lineup. This team has that ideal case of having a 1 through 9. That's going to be a pest for other teams to deal with. So from the question of, is this lineup deep because of the fact that these players have, done well so far in spring training? No. The conversation, though, is based on the lineup and the construction and the players that they have and the added depth and really the improvement at the bottom of the order, does this team have a lengthened lineup? And the answer to that is yes. Because a lot of the stuff, too, is with the way that the results are going in spring training. There's weird things that happen. You need more of the expected results than anything else. They just don't do the expected results in spring training. But the way that this lineup is and the way that certain players that are in this lineup, Frank, I look at the lineup length. I think they have a case that they could potentially have one of the deeper lineups they've had in the last handful of years. And it really has to do with the bottom half of the order.
Yes, and I don't think it has much to do. It's also got something to do with the bench, too, because you do have better guys, and we've talked about it over the course of the last couple of days, that you don't have Jason Hayward or Yuli Gurriel coming off of this bench now. You've got guys who are younger that are able to play like a Miguel Andujar, like possibly a Nick Castellanos or a Gavin Sheets or somebody of that nature that can still get it done at this level and aren't looking for one last hurrah. So, I would say the whole team is deeper, not necessarily just the lineup.
I think so too, and it's younger veteran depth. As that sounds like an oxymoron, it's reality. It's not 38-year-old veteran depth. It's 33-year-old veteran depth. Might be a little bit older than like the prime, but it's still in a good spot. Some of these guys have voiced where they like hitting the order on Bennett Woods. We'll play some of those clips for you to try to piece together this order when we come back. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. A lot going on. Padres World, spring training, an hour before first pitch. 12:05 start today, Sloan Park. Even, how about that, Frank? I know you're used to this because both of us have run Padre games in the past, okay? And the weird start times.
Mm-hmm.
You have the 20 starts in Atlanta. You have the 07 starts in Toronto. I still remember all these starts from working games. You got the 05 starts. You got the 15 starts in San Francisco. You got the 40 starts in most places. You got a 35 start. Even in spring training where everybody's playing in the same city, basically.
You can't start at the same time.
Same metro. Cubs got to be like, yeah, we started 05.
The best part is
38 in Anaheim. That's right. They started 38 in Anaheim.
Yeah, 38 in Anaheim, 08 if it was if it was Sunday Night Baseball. Like what? Why 08? Why?
Commercials, stuff. I guess.
Okay. You can add another 2 minutes. Trust me, you're asking a national television production to not add 2 more minutes of commercials? I think they can scrap up 2 more minutes of commercials.
The 07s kill me in Canada.
Angels might be a little bit harder, though. I get it. We'll discuss that later.
Are they even on TV?
We'll discuss that later.
Oh, yeah. What priority of start time is on the list for fans, for Angels fans, according to Arte Moreno? You know what? That's a great bit. That's like a David Letterman top 10. Top 10 priorities Angels fans have for their team, according to Arte Moreno. I bet you could come up with some good ones. Top 10 priorities Angels fans have for their team, according to Arte Moreno. I might have to do some work on that. Maybe we present that a little bit later. Winning apparently is not one of them. Not even top 5.
No.
I sent you that AI video yesterday where they had the AI video of the guy. He's an Angels fan, and he literally talks about like what playoffs. That seems nice, but what I really want is for the game to be safe and for the prices to be cheaper. Like $5 hot dogs, way more in on that. The only thing that would have been funnier is if it's a guy in an Angels hat that had a Monster Energy logo on the side and said, you know what would be great for the Angels if they had 2 more Supercross events. The Angels. What are they doing? So funny. All right, let's get to the Padres lineup situation. Because we talked about, based on everything we just talked about, Frank, I would say that this lineup is deeper than it's been in a long time. I think the Padres have had more talent at the top of the lineup in the past with guys like Juan Soto when he was on the team. But I don't think they have the depth that they have right now in a full lengthened lineup. And I think guys like Miguel Andujar and the way he has played so far with the, adding in. I mean, think about this. When you look at the roster, you talked about the bench before we went to break.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ty France makes this team, that means Ty France hit. And you got Ty France coming off the bench, and then he could be a defensive replacement at first base. So then you get a situation where Castellanos could DH, and then you have a Gold Glove first baseman coming off the bench late defensively when you need to get the outs. That's almost a perfect scenario. The problem is you got to figure out what's going on in the outfield. And to me, it's the Bryce Johnson versus Ty France battle, right? Because Miguel Andujar is making this team. Gavin Sheets is probably making this team. Nick Castellanos most likely is making this team. And your bench is going to be backup catcher, which is Campusano's spot. Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be Sungwoon Song, Bryce Johnson, maybe. And Gavin Sheets, it's not a lot. It's not a lot. But Ty France is a guy that could play a lot of different positions too. He could play a Sungwoon Song, could play a lot of positions. I mean, Ty France, Bryce Johnson, Sungwoon Song. I mean, those are the 3 guys battling for 2 spots right now. Do you think they would I don't know what the contract is in terms of clauses of being in the minor leagues, but he's not listed as a guy that wouldn't have options or refuses to go down to AAA. In adjusting to the United States and playing, I mean, the only way you can adjust is by playing at the level that you want to adjust to. But could you see is there a possibility that Song starts in the minor leagues? He might start in the IL.
Dodgers did it with Hai-Sung Kim last year.
Yeah.
They started him down in the minors, and then they brought him up.
That's another play that the Padres could do, and then Ty France starts on the team. And then you got guys going up and down when there's injuries. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of, I don't want to use the word finagling of the roster because that sounds bad. Utilization of rules to keep as much depth as possible. And there's no one better at it than AJ Preller. At manipulating the roster so you keep as much depth as possible. Now, let's get to the conversation of this deeper lineup even further. And Ben Woods had a lot of guys on again today. I do want to get to the Gavin Sheets and Jackson Merrill feud. It's not even a feud. It's funny. So we're going to get to that a little bit later. But what happened was, we talked about it yesterday. Jackson Merrill made graphic t-shirts for everybody. That was Gavin Sheets, like full into the wall, face plant into the wall. And so Ben Woods asked Gavin Sheets about it. He had his thoughts. And then Jackson Merrill responded to those thoughts. We're going to get to that in a second. But the other thing that Jackson Merrill talked about, and Ramon Laureano, was where they like to hit in the lineup. And again, we talked about Jake Cronenworth did a really good job batting 8th last year. Freddie Fermin did a lot better than what they were getting production-wise in the 9 spot. A lot of that stuff going on. But where does Jackson Merrill, Ramon Laureano want to hit in the lineup? Here is, once it loads, I see the computer. I see addition not helping you at all.
Nope.
No.
Everything hates me.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing for us to play a clip. The Adobe computer just went over like no. Here's Jackson Merrill on where he likes to hit in the lineup.
Yeah, I think I've always hit like 1 or 2, especially in the minors. Like I always hit 1 or 2, and then growing up I hit 1 or 2. So I think like 2 holes, like that's my most comfortable position that I could be in. I've obviously hit in literally every single spot in the lineup at this point, and I'm only 2 years in, so I'm sort of ready for anything. Sort of ready for anything they throw at me. But I'm just excited. A lot of good guys around me up top there.
What do we say on the show?
Right, but too early?
I was kind of hoping you would say that with more oomph so we can get it for a rejoin or something like that. But
we are always a show that is right, but too early.
There you go.
Save that bit. Save that drop. Put that in the new open that we've been trying to get done for the last 2.5 months. Anyway.
You have to say that bit.
You could put that in the open too. That is a Scraby level open right there with Chris and Gwen and all that stuff. How about so he likes batting 1 or 2. That's the only spot I like. I mean, Jackson Merrill in the lineup in general is great. You could bat him anywhere. It'd be great. But I find Jackson Merrill to be a number 2 hitter. I really do. Maybe I think he'd be a pretty good leadoff guy as well. But we've talked about we like Jackson Merrill in the 2 hole, regardless if it's a righty lefty. And if it's a left-handed pitcher and you want to move him down the lineup, but right now you're only moving him down to 4 potentially, what's the point? You might as well just have him bat second. Yeah. What's the point? If he can't hit lefties that bad, but you still got to bat him 4th, he's still better than what their alternatives are. Just leave him at number 2 the whole time. That's interesting. Where does Ramon Laureano want to hit? He was on with Ben and Woods earlier this morning.
Well, where do we want him to hit? I think it's like 5 or 6, is it not?
I wouldn't mind seeing him back cleanup. I think he'd be a better spot at cleanup than guys like Kevin Sheets. I think he's earned the opportunity to do that if he would want to do that. But I think in an ideal world, Ramon Laureano on a good team, on a really good team, is batting 5, 6, or 7.
All right. So
kind of in that range.
Let's see how right we are.
No, I lost a lot of headache a long time ago on that, so I don't pay attention to it anymore. I just
like when you were younger.
Early in my big league career. Yeah. I remember in Oakland, leading off, hitting 8 the next day, and then I didn't understood it what that was, and then hitting 5th, hitting 2nd, hitting 7 the next day. Like, so I'm like, oh, whatever happens, I can care less.
He didn't care. I chalked that up as a win for us because I said 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. I kind of gave you multiple options. You know what? That's perfect. The guy doesn't care.
We gave you guys in the lineup. He said in the lineup. So there you go.
Yeah, he just wants to be
right
in the lineup.
again.
Right again. Nailed it. I think if I brought that bet back up to Vegas, they probably wouldn't cash out.
No,
I don't think they'd be like,
I don't think so.
I don't think you hit it. I don't think you hit that one. He doesn't care, though. So I think that's good news for the Padres. I mean, we could talk about lineup construction all we want. In fact, maybe we do. Are we going to pull it out of a hat? No, we're better than that now. We got a deep lineup now. We don't have to do that until they lose 6 or 7 straight games, and then we're going to have to do that. But you know what? I'd love to have Go Aztecs in studio to do that for us if we have to do that bit because he loves it so much. Leading off, Freddie Fermin. Aha, all right, sweet. Batting second, Sung Moon Song. We're off to a great start.
We're broken today, boys.
Braden goes to Vegas. He'll take TCU by 30 to 20 points. Payout on that's probably not great. Based on the information we know, based on where Craig Stammen is put in the lineup, based on where these players want to bat in the lineup, we'll tell you about this deeper lineup as we give you our lineups when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Number Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. See the Griffin Canning deal? '26 NCAA tournament is just around the corner, and the bubble talk is starting to heat up. Obviously, we're talking about the Aztecs a little bit, but the rest of college basketball. Teams have roughly 3 weeks until Selection Sunday to make a statement. Right now, the key question for fans, who's in, who's out, and who still has work to do today. Break down some of those trends, highlight key bubble movers, and look at what to watch this week. Bubble snapshot by conference for the SEC. Their locks, Florida, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Alabama, should be in. Kentucky, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Auburn, and Texas and Missouri still have work to do. What are some of the key takeaways?
Also got Arkansas in there as well. Some of those key takeaways, Kentucky has hit a rough patch after 3 straight losses, but still boasts 5 quadrant 1 wins, a tough stretch ahead with multiple top-level opponents. Georgia's recent victories over Kentucky and Texas have boosted them back into should-be-in territory with an easier finish on paper. Auburn as well in this remains a wild card, 5 quad 1 wins against one of the toughest schedules in the country, but only 15-12 overall. The committee will weigh records versus strength of schedule heavily, which might leave Auburn on the outside looking in.
Big Ten had a pretty good weekend over the weekend. Locks, of course, are Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State, Wisconsin. They're all going to be in the NCAA tournament. Iowa and UCLA should be in at this point in time. Indiana, Ohio State, and USC still have work to do. And a big key takeaway over the weekend, UCLA recovered from that recent loss with an overtime win over Illinois, still hovering near the 85% consensus odds. They made a big jump. Ohio State continues to alternate wins and losses, making them a classic bubble team with inconsistent momentum. Iowa's stretch run is very critical for the Big Ten and for Iowa. After losing 3 of 4 recently, they have wins against Ohio State, Penn State, and they're essentially which are essential to solidify their spot. So if they can beat Ohio State and Penn State, they would be really in a lot better spot to be able to lock instead of just should be in. What's the ACC looking like?
Did you just have a 23-point lead on me?
Yeah, that's the greatest.
For the ACC, the lock should be Duke, Virginia, Louisville, North Carolina, and NC State. SMU, Clemson, and Miami should be in. Virginia Tech and Cal do have work to do. Clemson has cooled off a little bit after 4 straight losses, but still maintain a strong resume for an ACC bid. Miami sits in the mid 80% range for at-large odds with 2 more quadrant 1 chances remaining. and Vatech remains on the outside, needing key wins over both North Carolina and Virginia in order to remain viable.
As for the Big 12, the locks, of course, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, all having great years. The top half of the Big 12 is the best in college basketball. UCF kind of in the should be in category. They did regain control of the Big 12 potential 7th at-large bid as they had a good week against TCU and Utah. TCU and Cincinnati still have work to do, but Cincinnati had a big win over the weekend. They knocked off Kansas on the road. Their tournament hopes are remote, but they are still hanging around. They need some major wins and a little bit of luck to go their way. As for TCU, they've had a very much a seesaw season, and that has them hovering around 30% at large odds. They got one big shot left at Texas Tech. They should be able to take care of business against the other teams that they have remaining on the schedule, but playing a team like Texas Tech, who now doesn't have JT Toppin, opens the door for TCU. If they win that game, they're almost in the should be in category of waiting on the Big 12 tournament. But the Big 12 tournament is going to be must watch. In terms of other conferences, mid-majors, Gonzaga, Utah State should be locks. St. Louis and St. Mary's should both be in, and teams with work to do, one of them here in town. But Miami of Ohio, who's undefeated, by the way, just in case they don't win their conference. Santa Clara, New Mexico, Virginia Commonwealth, who had a fight with St. Louis last week. San Diego State and Belmont, all with work to do. There's a lot of key takeaways, but what is the key takeaway for the Aztecs?
For San Diego State, they have fallen off the bubble after consecutive losses. New Mexico has the edge in the Mountain West if only 2 bids are awarded. Now, if you're the Aztecs, though, you look at your remaining schedule, you have Utah State, Boise State, New Mexico, and UNLV. So you've got 3 quad 1 opportunities if you're San Diego State plus UNLV. So you have the ability to possibly make a case for yourself in the last gasp, but with that loss against Colorado State, that really, really set you back.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting this week. I mean, bubble volatility, Auburn, Ohio State, San Diego State, Santa Clara exemplify how a single loss or a single big win can swing the odds dramatically. Momentum matters here more than ever in the last weeks of the regular season. Strength versus record. I mean, Auburn and TCU are more impressive on paper with tough schedules, but mediocre overall records. And will the committee... We're ready for some Padres baseball coming up. And we're going to talk about Padres baseball for a long time today on the Braden Surprenant Show. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I do want to get to these lineups that we would do. We have the lineup against Chicago. Again, it's the road games are a little bit different when it comes to who's playing and who's not. Like your starting shortstop today for the San Diego Padres is Pablo Reyes.
Let's go.
His nickname is Tom Kim. Couldn't tell you why.
Tomkin?
Tom Kim.
Tom
Tom
Gotcha.
Kim. That's according to his MLB.com page. Tom Kim.
That's cool.
Interesting. He's your starting shortstop today. So Bryce Johnson bats leadoff. Nick Castellanos bats second. Miguel Andujar is batting third today. Sungmoon Song bats fourth. Nick Solak bats fifth. Samad Taylor bats sixth. Mason McCoy bats seventh. Pablo Reyes bats eighth. And your starting catcher today is Rodolfo Duran.
Sweet.
I need that. You know what I need in a bad way right now that we don't have? I need the Bruce Bochy, who? Radio drop. I'm just saying, like, some of these guys I've never even heard. You know, did you know who that was?
Yes,
Rodolfo
actually,
Duran?
I did, yes.
All right, give me the full breakdown.
He has never been in my kitchen.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you what he looks like. I kind of figured there would be somebody in the world named Rodolfo Duran. I just would not have told you he was a professional baseball player, though.
The drive out to Mesa from Peoria is long. I could see why they are only making Castellanos and Andujar the resident starters for the game today. Cubs lineup a little bit better. Cubs lineup is a little bit better today. Michael Busch bats leadoff, followed by Matt Shaw, followed by Carson Kelly, Dylan Carlson. Is that who that is? Dylan Carlson? Yeah, Dylan Carlson. McCormick, Trinados, Murray, Dean, Kingery. I'm sorry, is that? Scott Kingery's on the Cubs? When did that happen?
I just found out that Mike Tauchman's a Met.
This is the year. This is the time of year where you forget that all these guys made
you
deals.
forget people exist.
Here's a trivia. What team did Scott Kingery play for last year? He played 19 games last year in the big leagues. What team was it on?
So Final Jeopardy last night.
Nice Men in Black reference.
Detroit.
No. He played 19 games for the Angels last year. The Angels.
Oh, that's impressive.
Did not play 2023, 2024. Last year in Philly was 2022. He played one game. No at-bats. Scott Kingery. God, what a blast from the past. He's a starting shortstop today for the Cubs. That's why you want to go to home games in spring training. Absolutely. I want to get the lineups, but I also want to get to this. I wouldn't really call it a feud.
Oh no, it's a feud. Let's just roll with it.
We're going with the drama of the feud.
Yeah,
okay,
of
so
course,
here's the
spring
context.
training. It's all about drama. Don't worry about it.
Spring training for everybody, including relationships. Oh man, we got a riff in the clubhouse between Jackson Merrill and Gavin Sheets.
Absolutely.
Jackson Merrill showed up to spring training this year with T-shirts of Gavin Sheets crashing full speed into the wall in left field. Nobody has asked the wall how the wall feels, by the way.
That is true. That is very true.
You know, because I think back, what would be great? I think you now with AI, you could probably do this. Do you ever watch the movie Surf's Up?
No.
With the penguins surfing?
No. I've heard of it, but I've never
it's
seen
hilarious.
It,
So it's an animated movie about surfing with animals and stuff like that, but they do it like documentary style.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're following this penguin that is surfing, whatever. It's Shia LaBeouf's the main penguin. They got a rooster and stuff. It's whatever. So he wipes out in the first deal when he gets to the surf competition, and he lands on a sea urchin, and he's got a nasty thing in his foot and the whole deal, right? And they interview the sea urchin, and he's all beat up and stuff like that.
He came out of nowhere,
and he was because he goes I stepped on a sea urchin, and the guy's stepped on me. He's got this New Jersey Italian accent. Stepped on me. The guy was dancing on me. Look at this. Broken. Guy stepped on me. He was dancing on me. That's how I picture an AI video of interviewing the wall after Gavin Sheets blew through it last year.
Well, we could do that. I mean, if we leave here, go straight to Tony Gwynn opening day. If we get there early enough, we could go out there. We could interview the wall.
And then put in the AI so it's answering like that
we
guy.
We could do that.
Ran into me. Got barreled through me.
That's our show.
Broken. You've never seen that? You got to watch it during the break.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
See it. Stepped on me. The guy was dancing on me.
That's a trademark for our show, by the way. So Ben and Woods, Gwynn and Chris, lay off.
Our bit. We called the bit first.
Sam, we called dibs on that bit.
All right, so let's get to the actual conversation. So, Gavin Sheets blew through the wall, right? Everybody thought, that was crazy. And so Jackson Merrill this year for spring training. I'm sure you've heard this story before if you listen to Ben and Woods earlier because they've asked these guys about it, but he came with T-shirts with a picture of Gavin Sheets face planting into the wall, at the worst screenshot of Gavin Sheets. What did Gavin Sheets think about the T-shirts and Jackson Merrill? Here's what Gavin Sheets had to say about the tasteless shirts, maybe.
You're kind of working at first base again after going to the outfield. I know you'll play anywhere you've said it that they need, but they're wearing the T-shirts of you running Jackson's shirt running into the fence last year.
He's an idiot. Yeah, he's but it's okay because everything comes around, and I know he's been wearing the shirt, and I heard that we got 30 of them made back at Petco, so what comes around goes around. So he better be careful.
And by the way, after that play, you acquitted yourself pretty darn well out there in left field last season, but you could see how much better you were getting by the end of the year.
Yeah, made a lot of good strides out there and got a lot of more comfortable, and it was fun learning out there and getting acclimated out there, but definitely happy to be back at first base.
100%. So much less running, too.
I tell Jackson, look, I tried to kill myself for this team. I haven't seen you do anything like that.
That's fair. That's absolutely
It's a long run.
It's a long run.
Too. First base is right next to the dugout. It's awesome.
One step and a hop.
That's great.
That's awesome. He's got 30 of the shirts. So, word got around that Gavin Sheets called Jackson Merrill an idiot.
It's funny, by the way.
He brought up a good point. Like, the guy's sacrificing his life for the team. I don't know what Jackson Merrill's doing. Taking a pay cut? Come on.
It's funny how, like, when he talks about running into the wall and then getting better after that, it's like, yeah, that would incentivize me to not hurt myself, get better at something. That would really incentivize me.
I thought the best takeaway was, I'm glad to be back at first base.
Yeah.
So, word got around the clubhouse that Gavin Sheets called Jackson Merrill an idiot. Here's what Jackson Merrill had to say about being called an idiot by the guy that ran into the wall in left field.
We're on camera here. We can see the shirt that you're wearing, the Holy Sheets shirt of him really going into the wall out at Petco Park. We all remember it. And I do understand that his comments have now gotten back to you when he called you. I think the quote was an idiot. And that's a quote.
He's an idiot.
He's an idiot is the quote from Gavin Sheets, not from Ben and Woods. It was the quote from Gavin Sheets. So your response, sir?
I mean, he loves that comment. He loves he's an idiot, you're an idiot comment. Idiot's like his favorite word, but this guy is face first in the wall, and I'm the idiot. Like, what comes around goes around. I guess we'll see what happens this year, but this is all I can see right now.
I assume you were out there in center field during that moment. You got a good view of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I was a good teammate. I went up to him. I was like, just stay on the ground, dude. You just ate it. Like, you just ate it. Like, stay there. But the dude pinch hit the next day, so I got to give him props for that.
And then you took it upon yourself to get the shirts made.
Yeah, I think Gavin and I have grown closer over the last year and over the off season. So I felt like, January came around. It was time for the team to have some new shirts. So I made like 5 to start. And people liked them. I got a read on them, and then people started liking them. So I made like 30, and they're at the clubhouse in San Diego right now.
Pretty incredible. And will he wear it or no?
Yeah, he better.
He better. Yeah,
he got one.
Just stay on the ground.
Yeah,
stay on the ground. Just pretending you're hurt.
Just stay down, dude.
Ate it bad, bro. That was tough. That's the type of personality we don't get to see out of Jackson Merrill a lot.
That is something that's just brought up in chat. We never saw like a taped off outline on the wall. We never saw like somebody spray paint on the ground where he fell.
It's a murder scene from a cartoon.
No one did anything like that. I guess the shirt, but like that's something that's got to be made.
Oh man, that was great. You don't get that's the type of personality that you get to see Jackson Merrill in the clubhouse on a daily basis.
And we need more of it.
We don't see that in the media. He's always so locked in. He's straight-faced. He's like, we're ready to play.
Which is great.
I'm ready to play baseball. Like, all I care about is playing baseball. But it's like, that. You're a 22-year-old kid. That's a good kid. It's a fun guy to be around. Got to show it every once. I'm glad he did it for this interview.
Yes.
I mean, this is like one of the first interviews Jackson Merrill did where he's not like, oh, I'm just locked in for the season. It's like, come on, man. You got a great personality. You're fun to be around. So show it. Be that face of the franchise. Embrace it. Everybody knows that you're locked in game time. You don't have to be on all the time. He doesn't have to be on all the time.
I was texting you last year We were in the clubhouse for a long time last year, and we're waiting on, I think, a couple players. I think maybe Xander had a big day or something like that. And we were waiting on him to get all of his post-game stuff done and before he came and talked to us. And all of a sudden, this ping pong match breaks out and it starts getting intense. Like, it's Jackson and I want to say like maybe Tyler Wade, possibly. Or like Michael King, or it was somebody was playing Jackson Merrill. And those two were just having a blast. It was the first time that I got to see Jackson Merrill being a 21-year-old kid. And the thing that I texted you was, if this kid showed this side of him more, this city would, do you think the city loves him now? They would fall in love with this kid and never want him to leave. They would pay his salary to keep him here for his entire career.
Yeah.
He's such a cool, funny dude.
They do that anyway because he's really good.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, it'd be nice to see it a little bit more. He's always super serious. And I agree with Go Aztecs. Like, I'm not saying like in the national media's perspective, but here in the local stuff, you want to see that kind of personality. 100%. You want to see him be like that. You want to see these guys as humans. I think he's relaxed a little bit more going into his season this year, not from a sense of not being ready to go, because I think he's ready to go and locked in on a field, but relaxed in a sense of like he's comfortable being in Major League Baseball. He's comfortable. He like he's the guy, and they've been able to, like they're able to. Or should I say he's able to...
He doesn't have to prove it anymore.
No, he doesn't have to prove it to anybody anymore. We all know he's good. He's an all-star, like all that stuff.
He's got the big boy contract now. He's not in arbitration. It's not a yearly debate with him. He's here. He is a San Diego Padre. He is a major leaguer.
More personality, less guys running into walls. Hey, you know what? It'd be good. That's like the fun vibes of
as long as they're not
right
getting
now.
hurt.
True. That's the fun vibes of the team right now. That's what we like to see, and that's what you want to see in spring training. These guys are being competitive, but at the same time, they're gelling together. They're building that camaraderie. Like that goes a long way for teams that have good years. And I like everything I'm seeing right now when it comes to the San Diego Padres. When we come back, we'll go through that lineup that we wanted to talk about based on what Ramon Laureano wants to hit, Jackson Merrill wants to hit, where we think the ideal lineup is. We'll update that for you when we come back, plus get to a sports thread. San Diego Summer Sports Station 97 through the Fan. San Diego Gulls are hitting the stretch run of the AHL season, and the past week has shown exactly what this team is capable of: resiliency, depth scoring, and playoff-style hockey. But it's also exposed some rough edges, closing out games and maintaining intensity on back-to-back nights. Let's break down what happened and what's coming up next. First off, they made a roster move. Ian Moore has been reassigned. Big news out of Anaheim. Defenseman Ian Moore was reassigned to the San Diego Gulls before the beginning of last week. 24-year-old Moore has 9 points in 41 NHL games this season and recorded his first NHL goal back in November. Add some size, 6'3", 205, and experience to a Gulls defensive core that has been productive but could use some depth. He was at Harvard, and he scored 56 points in 122 games, so he's capable of moving the puck and contributing offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. At the same time, Colson Petrie and Connor Smith were sent to the ECHL affiliate in Tulsa to balance out their roster. Moore's arrival is definitely worth watching because he can provide the kind of two-way stability that the Gulls need as they make this playoff push as the AHL season starts to wind down.
It was a tough week last week for the Gulls. I mean, they came up empty a couple of times. They did get a point, at least in the shootout loss to San Jose, and that's where we're going to start. Back on February 18th, last week, during the week, the Barracuda beat the Gulls 4-3 in shootouts. Ryan Carpenter scored with 4.5 seconds left to tie it. Gulls take 1 point. Carpenter now has 27 points. Roland McKeown leads defenseman with 19 points. Justin Bailey continues to lead the team with goals at 17. Goals set at 22, 15, 6, and 4 after that game, keeping them right there in the Pacific Division picture. But Coach McIlvain stressed lessons in closing out leads, noting that the second period gave San Jose a window back into the game. And Carpenter's late heroics show the team's resilience, but they need to finish stronger. I mean, we've been discussing the goals these last couple of weeks. They've been resilient, but they're not getting it in the win column, Frank.
Yeah, there's always that one bogey period, it seems like. And in this case against San Jose, it was the second period. Also a 5-round shootout as well. So they went a distance in that shootout as well. So still a rough loss. Very happy, though, to at least get 1 point on the board with how tight everything is in the West.
Over the weekend, they played the Rockford Ice Hogs. Didn't have that much success. Again, coming up just short. They lost 5-4 on February 21st over on Saturday. They erased 3 separate deficits and went 3 for 3 on the power play to pull to just get close there. Sasha Pastuva had 3-point night, including 2 power play goals, his first multi-power play goal game of the AHL. Ryan Carpenter added his second straight multi-point effort. Stanton Solberg had his first career 2-goal game, now second among rookie defensemen in goals. Matthew Phillips, 200th career AHL assist, and Callie Klein earned his 12th win of the season. So, yeah, they ended up eking out a victory over the Rockford Ice Hogs 5-4. But, again, a very close game for the goals. They had to keep coming back from deficits.
Yeah, you're going to have to play from underneath every now and again, but to continuously put yourself in a position to where you're doing that night after night really, really wears down on you. So, and you're going to see it coming up with what happened on Sunday night.
Yeah, 2-1 loss to the Rockford Ice Hogs. Tighter contest. Nathan Gauthier had scored his 7th goal. Thomas Sichanek stopped 27 to 29 shots. Goals went 0 for 3 in the power play, though, a stark contrast from the night before.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach McIlvain emphasizing the importance of executing with the puck and staying sharp on back-to-back. So now you're at a point where you're sitting at 23, 16, 6, and 4. Points in 7 of their last 8 games. Playoff position currently on the line as they sit 6th place, in the Pacific behind teams like Colorado, Ontario, and Bakersfield.
A loss in shootouts, a 5-4 win at Rockford, a 2-1 loss at Rockford, and it's getting down to some pretty tight games. Again, the resiliency, but not getting the results in the win column that you would like. As you mentioned, 6th in the Pacific Division, behind teams like Colorado, Ontario, and Bakersfield. Few points out of a top 3 positioning, which is huge for them because you might be able to host. And the depth scoring is proving essential for the San Diego Gulls. But the problem is it's the having to come back over and over again. You got to be able to jump out to a lead and hang on to it.
Yeah, and also that bogey. That they got to really limit that one bogey period that they've been having recently.
So coming up for the goals, they're going. Frank finally saw the clip. Some people were commenting on the Surf's Up reference. Has anybody seen the Chicken Joe? You know, I never knew my father. Zoom in on a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken documentary. It's so great. What did you think of the Surf's Up clip with the sea urchin?
That was fantastic. That was absolutely incredible in a movie now that I have to watch, because I've seen Happy Feet was the one that I've seen, the Penguin movie with Robin Williams. But I've heard of Surf's Up. I had just never seen it before. But I'm gonna have to change that.
Yeah, that needs to be changed. A full movie review when you come back on your homework assignment. So good. It's just so great. Stepped on me. The guy was dancing on me. Let's get to the I'm gonna give my lineup. This is like my ideal lineup here at this point. So what we do know is like we're doing a little deciphering, kind of putting this thing together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they asked Jackson Merrill and Ramon Laureano where they would like to be in the lineup. Ramon Laureano didn't care. I thought that Ramon Laureano, I think for him, I think you could put him at 4. I think he's earned the opportunity to bat 4th. But when you start piecing together, and this is like, you see things go up and down all the time with just how spring training results go. But based on like Jackson Merrill, I've always liked Jackson Merrill in the 2 spot. He sounds like he likes being in the 1 or 2 spot, right? So with some of the ways that they've been doing the lineup with Bogarts at the top, then Merrill, then Machado, then Tatis, I like that top 4 anyway. And I think with that, it kind of puts a more ideal person in the 4 spot. Because like Xander's not a cleanup hitter. Jackson's not a cleanup hitter. Manny, I think, could be a cleanup hitter, but he's always hit 3 on this team, so I don't really want to mess with it. But having Tatis bat there, and I think he wants to get out of the leadoff spot a little bit. And who knows? I mean, they didn't have him bat leadoff last year in spring training, and then game 1, he bats leadoff and the bats leadoff the rest of the year. But if you have, I really like Jackson Merrill too. I don't mind Xander in the number 1 spot. Xander, Jackson, Manny, Fernando. Then I go with Ramon, Laureano at 5. And then I would go Sheets 6, Castellanos 7. Where I really get
probably Andujar in that spot if
Andujar if it's a lefty, you'd move things around. And then I go Freddie Fermin 8 and I have Jake Cronenworth bat 9. I think Jake Cronenworth can flip it to the top of the order very well. I honestly do. And then it's like having another guy at the top. But that's I like to see. I think you could go Merrill 1 as well, but was it the whole thing with Xander Bogaerts like he can't bat second? Don't you remember that conversation?
Yeah, he was not a fan of batting second. He did not like it. He didn't feel comfortable. He did not want to be the number 2 hitter.
He's never been, he had never been successful in the number 2 spot. He didn't know what it was, but he was like, yeah, don't really bat me second. I mean, I don't even want to deal with that. He doesn't have to. I like Jackson batting second anyway. I mean, he kept saying 1 or 2. That's where I really feel comfortable in the 2 spot. Have Jackson bat 2. If Xander likes batting leadoff, have him bat leadoff. I think he's going to work counts. Machado 3, Tatis 4, Laureano 5, Sheets 6, Castellanos 7, Freddie Fermin 8, Jake Cronenworth 9. You want to mix it up, obviously for left-handed hitters and have Miguel Andujar there instead of Sheets. I think that's fine. Luis Campusano would be a backup type player. And then you're looking at whoever else would be your backup. You're either going to go Bryce Johnson or Ty France. And then what's the deal with Sungmoon Song? I wouldn't be opposed to Sungmoon Song starting off in AAA, getting up to speed a little bit. And then you go with Bryce Johnson as your 4th outfielder. And then you have Ty France as your utility infielder. At first, third, he could play second as well if you really need to, even though you probably don't like that as much. It doesn't set you up perfectly for having a backup shortstop or anything like that, but that is an opening day group for position players is pretty solid. You don't really have any holes on the bench. Your biggest hole is Luis Campusano, and we like the way that he has started camp this year, and I still think you got to give him a chance.
Yeah,
but him in a smaller role, I think, is okay. And here's the deal: it's going to be hard for him to get up to speed bat wise if he's not getting consistent at bats. But I think they're going to try to help Fermin out by giving Campusano a lot of spot starts, just because it's the first year, full season, where Freddie Fermin's got to be an everyday catcher. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that group. I think it gives you the lineup depth that we've been talking about. And I also think it gives you major depth on the bench. I mean, Andujar, Campusano, Johnson, and France on the bench. That's a solid bench for the San Diego Padres. And again, don't look at the early showings of spring training. As mentioned, as Sam Levitt mentioned, and I agree, like Taylor and Miranda, they haven't done it against the first group of pitchers yet. It's been the second half. Prolific. My lineup is better. If you put a lineup out there that was your lineup and it's different than the lineup that I put out there, why would you not like your lineup better? It's like, you know what I'm saying, Frank? Like, wouldn't you like?
I got you.
Like, put the lineup out. You know what? I don't like my lineup at all. I really don't like it. You're right. I don't want to see Ramon Laureano bat leadoff. I don't. I think he's better in the middle of the order. I think he's way better in the middle of the order. Prolific's lineup is Laureano, Merrill, Machado, Tatis, Xander, Castellanos, Fermin, Sheets, Cronenworth. Sheets that low, dude? What?
Yeah,
As a lefty? This is we're just handing out lineups, Frank. What do you think?
What I would do is Xander, Merrill, Fernando, Manny, Laureano, Castellanos, Sheets, Andujar, that swap, Fermin, and Jake. So pretty much the same lineup as you. I do have Manny and Fernando switched, and I've also got Castellanos and the Sheets Andujar pairing switched.
I think Fernando fits a 3 spot more than a 4 spot, and I think Manny fits a 4 spot more than a 3 spot. You've always hit Manny 3.
No, I
don't know what that conversation is going to be like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that. I don't know the inner workings on that. In a vacuum, I like it. I also think Nick Castellanos as a 7 hitter in your lineup is more. It shows more value if you could do that. And I think Gavin Sheets has earned the right to bat around the state. And the other thing too is, like, as was noted in the article from Kevin Acey about the lineup depth, if you will, he mentions how good Sheets was in the 6 spot, like 4 through 6. Gavin Sheets last year hit 326 mid-August to mid-September, and he did that while he was batting 4th, 5th, and 6th. I like, and that leads to Castellanos potentially batting 7th, and Castellanos in your lineup as a 7 hitter is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good spot to be in. Now all of a sudden it makes a lot of sense for the pickup, right? Like the whole thing was, well, you're paying him to be you're paying him league minimum to be better than a league minimum player. And if he's batting 7th, that's a big upgrade for you. You're not paying them $20 million to be a star. You're paying him around league minimum to be better than an average player and to be at the bottom of the lineup in an area which you have not had a lot of great players play at in previous years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. My thing is I'd like to show a little bit more favoritism towards players who are going to be in the everyday lineup instead of guys that are being swapped in a platoon. But if Sheets is better as a number 6 hitter, I have no problem with that. And then I'd do the switch when Andujar's in. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same. We pretty much had the same lineup. We just had a couple of guys swapped around one spot.
You got 3 lefties in that lineup.
In what lineup?
In the lineup we just gave. Merrill, Sheets, Cronenworth. Everybody else is right. And we didn't stack them. I would go back to like the lefty, right? It's like they all batted back to back to back. But I think they got more depth this year in the lineup. I really do. And I know it's spring training, and we don't want to fall into the narrative of everybody's spring training lineup is always like, oh, this team's going to have the most depth ever.
Yeah.
Every spring training's like this. But I don't mind it. I don't mind this, the group they have. And the bench is a lot. This is the most, I don't want to say excited I am for the bench, but this is the most, I'm like, bench got guys that could play. It's not like it's a massive drop-off from years past.
No, not at all. The future looks very exciting with this team this year. It really does.
Is the sports thread exciting?
I don't know, man.
Let's find out if the sports thread is exciting today. Here's Frank Marchese with the sports thread.
You know that group chat? The one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frank, what do we got going on today in the sports world? Not Padres related.
We do have some baseball news to lead off.
Number 1.
Big story that was going around yesterday. Detroit Tigers ace Tarek Skubal, the 2-time defending AL Cy Young Award winner, said that he will make just one start for Team USA in the upcoming World Baseball Classic as he balances national pride with preparing for Detroit's season, likely pitching during pool play in Houston before returning to camp. Skubal, who will earn $32 million after winning his arbitration case and coming off a 2.21 ERA season with 241 strikeouts, said he would consider rejoining the team as a spectator if the U.S. reaches the finals in Miami, while Team USA's deep pitching staff also includes Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, and the now injured Joe Ryan. Is limiting Skubal to one WBC start the right move for the Tigers ace, or should Team USA lean fully on its best arm in a win-or-go-home tournament?
The Skubal thing's interesting to me because if he's just going to give you one start and he's the best guy of the group, why wouldn't you get him for like tournament play?
Yeah.
Like what a waste of a break. Like I'm looking at the pools right now. I'm trying to pull up the World Baseball Classic pools. And so you look at oh come on, I just don't need like a full breakdown. I just want to see what the pools are in the World Baseball
show
Classic.
Me what the schedule is.
Just show. I did schedule, and it's like, oh, here's the day one where everybody's playing on the X. That's not really care. I just want to see like the pool breakdown. Okay.
Show and graph, please.
Here's all the pots. But just show me who's in the pool. Okay. Pool B with USA, Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. Do you need Tarek Skubal to play against Brazil?
No, but that's probably the game he'll play.
Yeah, right. Do you need him to pitch against Great Britain?
No.
I don't want to disrespect our heritage, Frank. I don't think you need Skubal against the Italians. I really don't. I don't think you're going to need Skubal against the Italians. I don't.
Listen. They got a stacked team this year.
Stop it. Stop it. And then it's Mexico. Mexico's good. Like yes. I still think have Skeens pitch that game. Why wouldn't you have Skubal if he's only going to start one game for you? Why would you have him pitch in a more meaningful game? Let him continue to get built up in Detroit. Go pitch in one meaningful game and then go back to Detroit camp. I don't get it. I don't understand. What's the point of playing in the World Baseball Classic? I would have been like,
why is he even on the roster in that case?
Hey, this is Tarek. So I'm in. If you guys make the finals, semifinals, call me up. I'll be ready to go. But until then, I'm getting ready for the season. I would have appreciated that more than just like, hey, I'm all in. And then it's like, I'm only going to make one start and then I'm gone.
Okay, then bye. You're not on the team then.
Exactly. Then you're not actually on the team.
What's the point at that point?
Number 2.
Waste.
We've actually had an update to this story since last night when I put it in here. Just a week after a judge denied his bid to continue playing, former Alabama standout Charles Bediako is asking the Alabama Supreme Court for interim injunction relief that would allow him to finish the season with the Crimson Tide while his appeal is pending, arguing the case will become moot if it isn't resolved before the season's end. Bediako, who previously played at Alabama from 2021 to 2023, before signing an NBA and G League contracts, had briefly returned this season under a temporary restraining order and averaged 10 points in 5 games. But another ruling determined players who have signed NBA deals cannot return to college basketball, setting up a high-stakes college eligibility battle that could have broader implications for for NIL rights and the NCAA's amateurism rules. We have found out that this request has actually been denied as of this morning, so he is still ineligible to play. Should players who sign NBA contracts be allowed to return to college, or does that fundamentally change the definition of amateur eligibility?
Well, they're not really amateurs, but there's rules on how many years you can play college athletics. I think as soon as you go pro,
you're done.
You're done. There should be no questions about minor league. I think that should count for Europe too.
Yeah.
You go pro in Europe, you're done.
Out.
You can't play college. You want to go after whatever level. Like, I don't know how it works over there with high school and stuff like that. These are the rules that we play out here. I know it's not as high of a level for European pros, but
if you're playing professional athletics,
you cannot go to college and play that same sport. It seems pretty simple to me. I don't know why it's gotten so complicated. I really don't. Why go pro anyway? Probably make more NIL. That's a great point. When we come back, San Diego FC. Big news for San Diego FC. Somebody just signed a contract extension and talk about the game that happened over the weekend. great start to the season.
San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, No one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour on the Fan. Big thank you to the local cafe over here. Dropped off some burritos today. The bean and cheese was solid, Frank. A little early for a bean and cheese, but I was hungry. So,
well, hey.
It tastes like a Rubio's bean and cheese.
Why do you got it?
And the beans in there. What?
Brother, why do you got to disrespect? Like,
who am I disrespecting?
You got a free burrito. Don't.
Who am I disrespecting? You took it as disrespect. I just said it tastes like a Rubio's bean and cheese. Is that disrespectful to you?
You insinuating something?
I just said that's what it tasted like.
Okay.
The texture, everything was like it. If I would have said Chipotle burrito, would that have been insulting?
Well, no, you're insinuating they got it from somewhere else. They made it.
No, I'm saying that's what it tastes like. It's not saying that it was.
Okay.
That's the style. It's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, this is like a Rubio's burrito. Here's the thing. That's what great about the description is. People driving around are like, I know what that tastes like. Seems fair. I'm trying to describe what it tastes like. Tastes like a Rubio's burrito. The Rubio's bean and cheese, which is pretty solid, although without the salsa.
And I have a feeling we're going to be
going
back to Saudi League soccer here, I think.
Is that what you were watching?
Yes, because it was the only other thing that was on instead of like Get Up or whatever, the Rich Eisen show.
You're supporting the Saudi Soccer League?
What information am I going to gather from watching the Rich Eisen show with the sound off?
The Rich Eisen show from the scouting combine.
With the sound off. What am I going to get from that?
What are you going to get from watching Saudi Arabia soccer?
Some form of entertainment.
You're just like...
You could watch sports with the sound off. You can't watch a talk show with the sound off.
You're just supporting Saudi Arabia soccer, dude. That's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I would have the Met game on, but SNY doesn't work in here.
I mean, you could do dual TVs
I would have
of
the
MLB Network.
Yeah.
I've seen worse. I mean, what is that guy's wearing a Yankees hat? Where he says it's in Saudi Arabia? What level is that soccer league in comparison to the rest?
Oh, it's only as high as it is because Saudi Arabia.
Because they spend a lot of money.
Yes. This is the same league that had Cristiano Ronaldo in it for years. This is the same league that poached Inter's head coach right before the Champions League final.
Huh. It looks like it's super minor league.
Well, no, this is just a it's Saudi Arabian soccer. It's new. It's not, and they're trying to bolster it up by buying the biggest stars in the world.
Like the Saudi Arabia baseball league they had?
Yes. Well, they didn't get the biggest stars in the world now, did they?
They had the retired.
Arson Fudge is not in the Saudi Arabian league, unfortunately.
Well, they just lost Brooks Koepka, so take that for what it's worth.
Oh, and hey, see, you get a World Baseball Classic commercial.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. See
what
that?
Channel are you watching this on?
FS2.
Fox Sports 2.
And the only reason why I knew this was on is because I had the Sports Mix channel on, because, you know, what's better than having one television showing one useless thing when I can have it showing 6?
What else is on the Sports Mix?
What else is on the Sports Mix? That is a very good
question.
See,
this is why ESPN Plus is necessary.
Right.
There's some random college game on right now.
Right, but it's early in the morning. Otherwise, I'd have it on.
There might be some random college baseball game going on.
All right. So
you got tennis.
We've got NBA. We got NBA today on ESPN. We have First Things First on Fox Sports 1. That's cool.
Why are you watching that?
I didn't realize it was on. I didn't realize Champions League was on today. Well,
Wow,
guess what? I'm watching that now.
Guys watching the Saudi Arabia Soccer League over the UEFA Champions Club.
And it was Sandro Tonali that just scored for Newcastle, too. That's awesome.
The Champions League was on. Where's Juan? Where's Juan to get to disrespect you?
I didn't realize.
The guy had an opportunity to watch Champions League, and he decided to watch the Saudi Arabia
It was
Soccer
all
League.
on Wednesday last week. I know Inter's playing tomorrow. They're going to get knocked out of the tournament tomorrow, but lose 3-1 to a team in freaking Iceland. Good job, guys.
Speaking of soccer, it's a good transition in our soccer subject.
It is, isn't it?
That's great. There you go.
It's funny how that worked out, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Good timing. We call that a transition. That was good.
And segue.
There was some news today with San Diego FC. Care to elaborate for us?
One more time.
There was some news today for San Diego FC. Care to elaborate for us?
Yes, there was. Right as our show started, as a matter of fact, which is why I wrote it in the first segment in red, Tyler Heaps signed a contract extension as the sporting director and general manager of San Diego FC. So Tyler Heaps is going to be around for quite a while now, getting the reward that he should be getting, just the same way that Mikey Varas got the reward he should have gotten a couple of weeks ago.
All right. That's good news.
Yes, very good news.
This team is stabilizing and setting up a great I think they've set a great foundation. Aside from obviously the results are one thing, but they brought in what they thought was going to work. So far it's worked, and they've doubled down on it, and they locked it in for a long time.
Yes.
With Mikey Varas, with Tyler Heaps, with the vision that they have for this club, with guys like Anders Dreyer too, giving him a contract extension. They are locking in a lot of the early success, and they're using a lot of young players. We talked about this on our update, Frank, yesterday that we air in between commercials, but this is very much a youth movement on Saturday with a statement win at Snapdragon Stadium, a game that you attended as a media member.
Yeah, it definitely is. There were a lot of younger kids in the lineup. Luca Bombino's only 19. Dua is only, I think, 21, something like that. Farid is 19 years old, starting in net with Pablo Cisniega on suspension, and Dos Santos still recovering from his injury. But yeah, it is. It's certainly a younger movement, and it was really bolstered by Brian Zambelli scoring a right to dreamer, signed a contract 2 days before the game with the team, and Zambelli comes on late as a sub with a beautiful solo effort to score the fifth and final goal of the match for San Diego FC, and then to jump right into the Ultras after that. Just a perfect cap off. The stadium was rocking too.
They just tore it up on Saturday.
Yes.
I mean, they really, here's the deal. They're playing Montreal, who did not do well last year. They finished second to last in the Eastern Conference. They're not very good. And San Diego FC had already played multiple games. They've already won multiple games, right? I think that's a massive advantage to getting the season started, being already in a groove. And they have played a lot better competition to start the year.
Yes.
And they really showed that against Montreal. I mean, and the other thing too is, as you mentioned, the local products. I mean, Farid, who talked about, a San Diego native, a Del Norte High alum, former product of the, San Diego Loyal, all things that you've already said. But I mean, for him to come in, I mean, that's your third string goalkeeper now, and he's 19. And for him to pitch a shutout is great.
He had to make a pretty desperation save too in the 4th minute. So he right off the bat had to get settled in. There was no time for opening day jitters for him. He had to jump right into it, be right on it. But then after that, play was kind of even. San Diego FC got the goal in the corner from Chris McVeigh in the 14th minute, and the goal that really started to turn things in San Diego FC's favor, you felt was the goal by Amal Pellegrino on the 2-on-1 with Dreyer and Pellegrino. Dreyer takes the shot to the left side, which is the side that Pellegrino was on. Keeper deflected it right to Pellegrino, and he had a tap in right as the half ended. So, I mean, it was goal in, kickoff, tap, halftime. Then Montreal, 5 minutes into the second half, gets a red card. And then after that, it was just San Diego FC toying with Montreal at that point.
Overall, I mean, the big picture themes of this particular game from over the weekend for San Diego FC, they look deeper than year one.
Yes.
The system is clearly defined of what they're going to do because they've been able to win with younger players and have let more experienced players leave. Dreyer may be the most important non-superstar in the Western Conference, although he is very quickly becoming close to a superstar status. And the youth movement is not as like not really symbolism. This is a functional force for San Diego FC. And since Montreal collapsed after the red card, good teams bury opponents when that happens. And that's exactly what San Diego FC did on Saturday. They buried Montreal after the red card.
Yeah, they certainly did. And also, younger players kind of fit well to a system like this, or what Mikey Varas has, which you have constant pressure. You're constantly on the attack. You're constantly moving. So, yeah, it does favor a youthful team, a younger squad. I don't know if 17, 18, and 19-year-olds was the idea of youthful, but it's working right now. It's not hurting them, at least at the moment. It hurt them at the end of last season. It hurt them in the final couple of rounds of the MLS Cup last year. But to start off this season, that was a big, big statement from the youth and the team overall.
19-year-old has a clean sheet. 18-year-old scores in his debut. Got the teenager starting to take over for San Diego FC.
Being on the team for less than a week too.
It's fun to see. So they'll be back in action relatively soon, if I'm not mistaken.
This Saturday against St. Louis City, which ironically enough was their second game last year as well, and their first home game ever.
And then after that, they will they will go to Sporting Kansas City. They got FC Dallas on March 14th, but mixed in Toluca in the second round of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. So we'll keep you updated on all of that. We will also keep you updated on what's going on at Sloan Park in Mesa, Arizona. Padres and Cubs just got underway. Quick start to the game for the Padres on the offensive side. We'll talk about it when we come back, as well as dive into some interesting stuff going around college football that we want to mention as well. That continues on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. If you blinked this weekend, you probably missed a lot in local San Diego high school sports. Open Division basketball statement wins, wrestling, Masters drama, water polo, dynasties continuing, and spring sports officially underway. San Diego high school sports isn't just busy right now. It's defining who owns February and who's about to own the spring. And let's start in Solana Beach. I'll start with the boys basketball, and Frank's going to jump in with the girls basketball here. But Santa Fe Christian sends a message in front of a packed gym. Santa Fe Christian runs away from Cathedral Catholic High School, 82-53 in the Open Division quarterfinals. And once again, it was a haul. Dax Hall. He dropped 35 points, hitting from everywhere. Earlier this year, he had 42 against Cathedral. They just could not solve the Hall equation in the playoffs. Eagles hit 12 threes, only 4 turnovers, complete control. And now they host Francis Parker in the semifinals, and that feels like a de facto championship game because remember, Santa Fe Christian only has a couple of losses on the year. 2 of them are to Francis Parker. All 8 open teams do advance to the state regional, so it's not survive and advance. It's about seeding and momentum, and right now Santa Fe Christian looks like the most explosive team left. Should be a fun one against Francis Parker. Frank, what's going on in women's basketball?
Meanwhile, in San Marcos, 2-time defending champs Mission Hills survived a war with La Jolla County Day School, 53-46 game, tied 36-36 going into the fourth quarter. Freshman Maya Atkinson, averaging under 6 a game, scored 9 in the fourth quarter. She kept telling her coach all day, I'm ready for this. She absolutely was. Mission Hills hit 10 threes. La Jolla Country Day hit 3. That was the difference. Now Mission Hills heads to top-seeded Francis Parker. But here's what stood out. The open division on the girls' side might be deeper than we had expected because there were 2 big upsets. Grossmont knocked out Mater Dei Catholic, and Westview beat Cathedral Catholic. Now the bracket finds itself wide open.
Let's talk about wrestling. We talk about wrestling, usually talking about Poway. At Masters, Poway High School reminded everyone who the standard is. The Titans advanced all 14 wrestlers to the finals. They won 10. They scored over 400 team points. That's dominance. But one of the best stories came from Imperial High School. On his birthday, Noah Larios won his first Masters title at heavyweight, pinning his opponent with a 76-pound weight advantage and capping a steady climb from third to second to champion. Progression, development, also worth watching. Freshman battle at 106 between Granite Hills and Poway. That rivalry might define the next 4 years. State is coming in San Diego. We'll send some real contenders to the state level in wrestling. But girls water polo was finishing up some CIF championship games.
You said a 76-pound weight advantage?
Yeah, he did pretty good upset right there.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? To the pool, the Bishop School won its eighth consecutive Open Division title, 15th in 16 years, 8 straight. That is not just winning, that is institutional dominance. Meanwhile, Helix High School captured its first D1 title behind a 15-save performance in goal. Coronado, Scripps Ranch, new champions, new energy, water polo depth. See what I did there? In this section keeps growing.
Spring is here. We talked about lacrosse last week. We talked about track and field the week before. We're going to get to baseball and softball soon, but it's time for volleyball. Beach for the girls and indoor for the boys. Beach volleyball opened a couple of weeks ago with scrimmages, and guess who's chasing another one? That'd be Cathedral Catholic. The Dons have won all 3 Open Division titles since CIF sanctioned the sport. My heart might not be with the Dons as much as it might be with the Scripps Ranch Falcons. But anyway, Torrey Pines is chasing. Point Loma is loaded. La Jolla Beach Classic is coming up. And again, if you want to look at some of the big players, Scripps Ranch returns a lot of great players from last year's team that just won a D1 indoor championship. Right now, I'm looking at Torrey, Point Loma, Scripps Ranch, Cathedral Catholic on the open side. The Falcons of Scripps Ranch made it to the Open Division last season, so we'll see what Coach Byrne has in store for the Falcons over there at Scripps Ranch. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. But on the indoor side, Cathedral has won the Open Division. Torrey Pines, Carlsbad, 3 different Open champs the last 3 years. Could someone new break through? Torrey Pines stacked again. Francis Parker has a 6'11" junior and Kevin O'Brien. Bishops is deep. Spring might not have a clear king, and that makes it fun. Seems like it's pretty much wide open for the indoor for the boys, and everybody's chasing the Dons for beach volleyball. That's our look at the high school update for you. We'll mention softball and baseball next week. Broadcasting live at the Bill House Studios, we know how. We give away Aztec tickets in the 1 o'clock hour, San Diego State and Utah State. That's a huge game for San Diego State basketball. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Obviously, with where the bubble is at right now, it's about to burst if you are the San Diego State Aztecs. If they can win tomorrow, they're hanging on for dear life, but then they have to do a lot of damage against New Mexico and Boise State on the road. Update for you on the Padre game. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Update on the Padre game. Bryce Johnson started the game off with an infield or a single. Nick Castellanos flew out. Miguel Andujar singled. Sungwoon Song struck out swinging. Johnson and Andujar did a double steal. Nick Solak grounded out to end the inning. Marco Gonzalez is starting today for the Padres. Michael Busch doubled to get the game started. Matt Shaw grounded out, which led Michael Busch to third. Carson Kelly singled to score Michael Busch. And it's 1-0 Cubs in the bottom of the first inning as Marco Gonzalez is pitching against Dylan Carlson. You are caught up on the Padres spring training game. Don't take results that seriously. Again, since we like talking about that on the show. We do want to get to some other stuff here and some interesting topics. And one of them that I thought was interesting that you see now in college athletics, and we're going to get to some other Padres stuff later on in the show. But when you look at the craziness of college athletics, which we do at least once a week, do we not, Frank? At least once a week.
Yeah.
This is a ongoing conversation. Well, and I want to get. Did you see that what I sent you yesterday, or maybe this morning about Sacramento State?
Yes, I did. I haven't read into it though, but I did see it.
That is fascinating. Apparently, so here's the from what I gathered, here are the Cliff Notes, Spark Notes of the Sacramento State going to the MAC. Sacramento State apparently had a surveyor or whoever's in charge of forecasting what projections would be in terms of a financial impact to the Sacramento area and the school if they join the FBS. Does that follow? You follow so far? So
Yes.
they had somebody like calculate how much money the area and the school would get if they joined FBS football.
Do they have a bigger financial impact than the A's?
I don't even know if they had that financial impact for the A's. That's how. I don't know. I don't know what the A's impact was.
That was the joke, meaning the A's weren't bringing any money into Sacramento. Anyway,
I know.
go ahead, continue.
I understand that. I just didn't know if they. I don't think they had any of those reports. I don't think they bring in any money. They obviously bring in some money. So anyway, the company comes back and gives Sacramento State the information. You following so far? Sacramento State uses that information to join the MAC and then brags about how much money they're going to get being an FBS school. Do you know what the surveyors said after that?
It's not necessarily how that works, is
No,
it?
they said you interpreted a lot of the values that we sent you incorrectly.
Yeah.
They gave them values, but the values that they gave, I got to look deeper into what those values were. But they basically said, no. We didn't say you would make this much money. We said an impact can be like about this much money, but your take home, they misinterpreted what they said. And so now they might be in a massive financial hole by joining the FPS. Because they didn't analyze the data properly, which I find funny coming from a university. Where's the Curb Your Enthusiasm song? Dun, 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 dun. That's Sacramento State right now.
Would have it on their thing.
I'm sure they do have it somewhere. I just, I put you on the spot there, but that's immediately what I thought of on the Sacramento State deal. That's not the craziest stuff going on in college athletics. You have the NIL Wild West. Are the street agents exploiting high school athletes?
Yes.
This is something I'm going to tell you right now. Every parent out there in San Diego that's got a good athlete, pay attention to what we're about to talk about. I beg the kids that play at my school to listen to me on some of these stories before they go signing with people that aren't agents. Money has flooded college sports. We know this. NIL, revenue sharing, direct payments. By the way, that's legal in California for high school students to benefit from. It's been like that since 2020. But with the money came the middleman. Don't like the middleman, Frank. We don't like the middlemen. No, we don't. Don't like the middlemen. And now coaches across the country are calling it a crisis. It is a crisis. The rise of street agents. Unlike the NFL, or the NBA and their agents, who must be certified by unions, high school and many college NIL representatives don't need a license, don't need a degree, don't need certification, don't answer to a governing body, and they operate through social media, AAU programs, private trainers, informal networks. Don't give these people your money. According to coaches, these middlemen are charging 20 to 30% of the cut. 20 to 30% of what you earn is going to them. I thought this phrase was coined well by our Drake Hills. He said, brother, you don't even give your church more than 10%. But you're going to give an agent who's not even certified 20 to 30% of your earnings? Are you out of your mind? For context, here's good context. Well, people are probably going, well, how much does an NFL agent typically get, Frank? How much does an NFL agent get of the contract that he negotiates for his player? Do you know? Do you have an idea?
I think he said it's like 3%. Is
3% of contracts and 10 to 20% of endorsements. High schoolers, some are giving up 20 to 25% of NIL money. The numbers are alarming. 18% of college athletes surveyed said someone helped them with NIL in high school. 67% agreed to give that person a percentage, and the median cut was 20%. 70% of coaches said they don't believe these agents act in the athlete's best interest. Oh, you don't say. Wow. Shocking.
Holy cow.
Joe Martin, executive director of Texas High School Coaches Association, called it, quote, almost a crisis. This isn't an isolated incident. This is systemic. Let's look at Braden Fulbright. You want to talk about like auto-generated names? Everybody that doesn't get their name called for the biggest fan. Braden Fulbright? Anyway, the most disturbing case centers on Braden Fulbright. Braden Fulbright committed to Oklahoma State. He got an NIL deal around $36,000 annually. His so-called agent demanded 25% of his $36,000. Are you kidding? What? When Fulbright resisted, the agent allegedly sent hostile, profanity-filled texts claiming he was, quote, owed.
You are a disgusting, vile human being who should be locked away.
Where's that meme? Straight to jail.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's under the jail. You're taking advantage of a child, dude.
There's a lot of those guys out there.
You are pathetic.
The university nearly backed off the player because of his agent's behavior. That's the danger. These middlemen don't just take money, they can damage opportunities. This is the structural problem of this entire NIL nonsense. There is no players union. There is no national registry for agents. There is no consistent state oversight. There is no uniform NIL enforcement. The NCAA says it has limited authority. The College Sports Commission does not regulate agents. Congress has introduced a bill that would require agent registration, cap agent fees at 5%, and create an online registry. It's in committee. So that's good news. Meanwhile, the FTC opened an inquiry into potential violations of federal agent laws, but enforcement remains unclear. Why are high school athletes more vulnerable? Well, they don't have compliance departments, right? At least in college, the athletes can go to their compliance department at a D1 school and they can tell them all the legalities of what's going on. High schools don't have this. They don't have, and high schoolers don't have legal advisors. They're often the only recruit at their school, and they rely on parents who are unfamiliar with NIL. Parents in San Diego, I'm telling you, listen to this. Inform yourself before you sign up for a terrible deal with somebody that's not an actual agent. And coaches say this is what they're saying. Athletes transfer schools based on agent advice. How about that? This guy, I mean, I complain about AAU and club coaches trying to take money because they need to get paid and they want to get paid year round, so they make you play sports that you shouldn't be playing during certain seasons. That's a different topic for a different day. This is way worse than that. These people are taking 20 to 25% of your NIL because they negotiated the deal that you could probably do yourself. And then they encourage you to jump in the portal because they have been talking to sources and other people to try to get more money. They don't get paid unless you get a boost, right? So they want you in the transfer portal. Kids are losing out on playing time. Scholarships disappear. Deals are mishandled. One coach wrote, all these agents are money grab for themselves. That's 100%. Why do you think they have these rules in professional sports? How many times do I have to ask that question? For everybody that constantly goes like, oh, we got to pay these kids and all this other stuff. You don't want to do the hard stuff. This is the hard stuff. You have to establish all these things. And so when you just like throw out all of these players need to get paid and like, oh, just figure it out, that is also negligent. They just pay these kids. Just pay them. It's fine. It's whatever. They're getting hosed. They're not getting paid. You know who's getting hosed? You know, they're getting more hosed now than they probably were getting the money under the table. Like these agents preying on these kids. This isn't anti-NIL. This isn't anti-chaos. The compensation model is obviously here to stay with NIL, but the infrastructure of this deal needs to catch up. What are we doing? There's no sheriff in town. You got the hustlers showing up. Fraud. It is fraud. NIL created opportunity, but it also created a lot of vulnerability. Lack of regulation invites a lot of exploitation. High school kids are especially exposed. 20 to 30% of cuts for representation feels very predatory, if you ask me. The NCAA looks powerless again. They're like, oh, well, we can't do anything about this. This is about whether players. This is not about whether players should get paid. This is about who is taking from these players. I mean, this is all the information we already knew about. I'm just finally glad it got put into an article, Frank, because this is theft.
Exactly. It is theft. It is taking advantage of people, and those are two things that I am not a fan of. It is absolutely disgusting what these people do, and if you want to play pretend sports agent, you should do it by following the rules that are set aside, because you are going to, if you want to be a sports agent, you're going to have to get used to playing within the confines of the rules of the system. So if you do it as a pretend sports agent and try to make as much money as you possibly can, you're a despicable person, number one. And number two, if your ambition is to get quote unquote practice to become a sports agent, you're going to get a very stiff lesson as to how much sports agents actually make.
I mean, the reality of the situation is like anybody can do it. Me and you could go just start representing kids, right? Like and I'm sure, and I heard rumors about coaches in town doing that for the high school players they get.
Who's honors agent?
he signed on with somebody, and I asked them how much, and I got the percentage, and I'll give you the thumbs up because I wanted to make sure that he was at least proper. But it's still, it's like
him a better deal, probably.
These parents don't know. They're ill-informed. It's new to them. It's exciting. Their kid's about to get paid tons of money. Everybody thinks they struck it rich. I mean, you start looking at the context of this with just like what your take home. If you give up 20 to 30%,
mm-hmm.
I mean, that kid got what, 30 before taxes, $36,000, and he was giving up 25% of that. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, what's the point of even getting paid? I mean, it's $9,000 off the top. By the way, they get it before they do all the taxes. And $27,000 a year. What a waste! That's before you get taxed on it. I mean, ridiculous. Ridiculous. We did contest it for the Midday Sports Standoff, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you could take me down in some sports trivia, you will be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, which is a pair of tickets to Zach Bryan at Snapdragon Stadium on July 31st. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. We'll also be giving away Aztec tickets in the 1 o'clock hour. Be tuned for that. We'll keep you updated on what the Padres are doing in Mesa, Arizona against the Cubs when we come back and get to our midday sports standoff. Braden Surprenant Show, Settings Room Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. Big week across the board for UCSD and the Tritons athletics programs, as it was a mix of statement wins, a couple of tough losses, and momentum swings as postseason play creeps closer. Let's start with men's basketball. They have made the Big West Conference a little bit more shaky with a huge win at the Brent Event Center, taking down UC Irvine 71-69 as freshman Hudson Mays hit a game winner with 13 seconds left to knock off first place UC Irvine. Huge win for UCSD, really putting a wrench in the standings of the Big West Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you're up to 19-9. You're 9-7 in Big West play, and you clinch a spot in the Big West Championship in Henderson. So this was also win number 100 for them as a Division I program, which is a major, major milestone. So congratulations to everyone with the basketball program.
Yeah, Tritons jumped out early. They hit threes. They dominated the glass. They built a 13-0 run. Irvine responded as good teams do, but UCSD closed the deal. That's the key. They executed late. Mays finished with 17 and 8 boards. Alex Chaikin added 15, and the team continues to show that it can win away from home. 11 road wins now, and the takeaway is it's not just a competitive program at D1 anymore. They're starting to turn into a dangerous program. It's going to take a little bit more time, especially with the new coach at UCSD and where everything lands up. But first step in this season for the basketball team is always make the Big West tournament, because not every school makes the Big West tournament in the conference. That's check number 1. Number 2, try to make a run to get yourself back in the NCAA tournament after winning the Big West tournament last year. As for women's basketball, first time that they lost, right, in a long time. They fall to Irvine 70-68 at home at Lion Tree Arena. And this one obviously stings because UCSD led for over 27 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. They shot better from the field. They dominated in the paint, fast break points, assists, almost every single category. They lost it on the free throw line, though. Irvine, 35 free throws. UC San Diego, only 14. And that was your major difference in the game over the weekend.
Yeah, Michaela Rose had 16 points for UCSD. Erin Condren posted yet another double-double. They did well enough to win, except they didn't get a couple of plays to go their way, and they couldn't overcome the free throw disparity. And that was a big factor right there as they lose by 2. The women are still 18-8, 13-3 in conference play, still in a great position. But if games are going to be this tight in March, can they survive that kind of gap at the free throw line? But they have to find ways to get themselves to the free throw line too. I mean, some of it could be, we're not getting the calls that we want, but also playing the style of game, you've got to get yourself to the free throw line sometimes, especially in basketball. As for baseball, Frank, a couple of missed opportunities for Eric Newman and his crew. On the diamond, they drop a 5-2 decision to Western Michigan to close out the Tony Gwynn Legacy Series. Gabe Camacho continues to swing it well. 3rd homer of the season. Pitching wasn't bad either. Nathan Reese struck out 7, but they stranded 10 runners.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we've seen downtown quite a bit, especially last year, stranding runners on base. They also had, if I can go back and see here, they also had a couple of close losses to, darn it.
They beat Creighton on Friday 8-7. That was a thrilling game. Yeah. And then they had a close loss on Saturday. I think it was against Omaha, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
they lost to Omaha close. But they got the win against UCLA early in the season. They're going to continue to play good teams. I mean, USD is going to be high in the RPI right now with the start that they have had. It's going to be a good game on Tuesday at Triton Ballpark at 6 o'clock. I'll have the call on USDToreros.com. Of course, you can watch the game on ESPN+. But they're 2-4. They're competitive. They're not finishing innings, and now they head into a tough road stretch with the Toreros. And then a tough stretch coming up. But after they host USD, they got to go to Lafayette to take on the Raging Cajuns, which is not that's no easy venture. And they also got to take on Cincinnati, who's off to a pretty good start in Big 12 as a Big 12 member in baseball. So they did well against Cincinnati last year. They're going to be able to do it on the road. We'll see if they can replicate it. As for softball, offensive firepower, but defensive gaps. Softball dropped 2 at the Mary Nutter Classic, 7-6 to Seattle, 10-3 to Rutgers. Offense showed life, multiple home runs, 11 hits in one game, but the 5th inning against Rutgers blew things open. 12:40. Update on the Padre game, Frank. We got an update on the Padre game?
We does have an update on the Padre game. Allow me to get to it here in just a second as I switch over the screens and everything.
It's 2-0 Cubs.
Yes, Cubbies do lead it 2-0. Matt Shaw just hit a sacrifice fly that made it 3-0. Michael Busch hit by a pitch made it 2-0 Cubbies in the second inning. First inning, Michael Busch led off with a double. Matt Shaw grounded out, moving Busch to third, and then Carson Kelly drove him in, made it 1-0. Marco Gonzalez still on the mound, inning and a third, just through pitch number 34 of his afternoon.
Again, we expected him to be a little rusty.
Yes.
He hadn't played in a long time, coming off of a flexor tendon surgery and all that stuff. So not overly surprised that, again, some of these guys haven't pitched in a very long time. It's kind of like how they are going to progress over the next couple of games, how they make that adjustment after game one. I mean, this is why they play 30-something games of spring training. It's why they have all these games in there, to get a lot of these pitchers working up to speed. And the difference, though, is, again, like Marco Gonzalez is in the same camp, if you will, as Tristan McKenzie. Yes. They can't have too many of these outings. JP Sears, he's part of the long-term plans. He's under contract for a couple of years. He's not going to make a lot of money, right? He has options, so you can send him down to AAA to get work. Like, he is a long-term, we're investing time, money, and effort into JP Sears. So they want to make sure he's right. Marco Gonzalez, he's battling for a spot. So not overly surprised what they've done. On the offensive side of things, again, not too many starters in the game today. Like Bryce Johnson competing for a team spot, led the game off with a knock. Nick Castellanos flew out. Miguel Andujar had a single. Those are the two guys that have gotten hit so far. They also have stolen bases. They had a double steal in that inning. Padres came up empty in the top of the second. Samad Taylor grounded out on a bunt. Mason McCoy grounded out as well. Pablo Reyes got a single. Rodolfo Duran lined out to right field. And so that's kind of all the offense that the Padres have had today. But again, the lineup, I mean, you look at the lineup, there is what? One starter maybe in that lineup?
You said Miguel Andujar got a hit?
Mm-hmm.
What type of pitcher is
Shota
Imanaga?
He is a lefty.
He is a lefty.
Miguel Andujar does really well against lefties. I mean, look at his spring training splits against lefties right now. It's probably pretty good. Probably pretty good. Good pickup. Like it. Love it. Want some more of it. All right. Not really much. Again, the lineup today, out of all the guys in the lineup, are there any guaranteed starters in that lineup? Guaranteed everyday starters?
I would say probably Castellanos, if anyone.
That's not a guarantee. I mean, he still has to make the team on his own right. We're just assuming. Bryce Johnson's a bench piece. Miguel Andujar is a spot start guy. Song's a bench piece. Nick Castellanos is assuming to be a everyday starter. He's still looking for his first hit of spring training.
Yeah. If anyone is going to, it would be Castellanos, but other than that, no.
Right. I mean, this is a battling for spots lineup today. So hopefully the Padres can put some runs together on the offensive side of things to show that depth, to show that they have some extra, depth pieces for this team. I mean, that was the conversation, right? From earlier, 40-man roster, combined 161 average going into today, while the non-roster invitees and the minor league contract guys are off to good starts. These are the guys that need to be able to do it.
Ron Marinaccio coming in after Marco Gonzalez struck out Carson Kelly with 2 on, now 2 out. Bottom second, Marinaccio in.
Team Italy representing.
Attaboy.
Marinaccio. He's one of 2 Italian Padres in terms of playing for Team Italy. I think Alec Jacob is on the Italian roster too.
Might have done.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know I thought we had 2 for sure. While Frank's well, you can check that when we go to break. We do need to get to our midday sports standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me,
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
Today, we have Chris in San Diego playing today. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. All right. So today's topic, we spoke yesterday about the U.S. winning gold in that classic men's hockey game. Today's question is, who are the top 10 nations to in the way they finished in the Olympics by gold medals? So who are the top 10 gold medal earning nations in the Olympics this year? Chris, you have the first guess.
United States.
United States finished second with 12 gold medals. They had 33 overall. Braden.
Norway had the most.
Yes, Norway had the most in both. They had 18 gold and 41 overall. Chris?
Canada.
Canada did not. They were in 11. They were recorded as 11th place with 5 golds and 21 medals overall. They lost the tiebreaker on medal count.
Cheaters. Curling.
Yes.
Okay, so you said Norway was 1?
Norway was 1. The U.S. was 2.
And they had how many each?
Norway had 18. The U.S. had 12. So you're looking at 12 or less for everyone else.
Okay. Oh, because Canada had
5.
Had 5. We're looking for top 10, right?
Yes, top 10.
The Italians were kicking ass at that earlier.
Italy ends up finishing in 4th with 10 gold, 30 overall. Chris.
Sweden.
That's a good guess.
Sweden finished in 7th with 8 gold, 18 overall.
The Netherlands are usually pretty good. The Netherlands.
Number 3, 10 golds, 20 overall. Chris.
Say 10 golds?
Yes.
Finland.
Finland.
No, Finland was not on this list, and I, for some reason, didn't put where they finished. That's what confused me the most about that.
Okay, so we have...
That's 2 strikes for Chris.
We have 5 of the 10.
We have 5 of the 10, yes.
Okay. I'm taking a risk on this one. They did a lot better late. China. No, not
China
enough.
also had 5. They had 15 medals overall. They were recorded with a 12th place finish. Chris.
Switzerland.
Oh, no. That's you're right. That's right.
Foul on Frank.
Yeah, foul on me. They had 6 and 23 overall. So that is they came in 8th. So you're both tied at 3. Chris, you do have 2 strikes on you though.
They had 6. Okay. All right. Trying to think of other country. What about the Czech?
Checha did not rank in the top 10. So you're both at 2 strikes on you now. Chris?
Japan.
They did pretty well.
Japan had 5. They were the one that got the 10th position. So they are 5 in 24 medals total. Braden?
Okay.
You're both on 2 strikes now.
What do you say, Japan? How many did Japan get?
5 with 24 total. We're missing 5, 6, and 9 right now. 5th, 6th, and 9th place.
Well, I'm French Canadian, which means I'm French. Vive la France.
Viva la 6th. As
Viva 6th.
8 gold, 23 overall.
Japan had 6 gold.
Japan had 5.
But they got the nod. They got the nod over Canada because of more medals.
Yes.
Okay.
Chris? Well, actually, they got the nod over them.
I mean, because Japan, Canada, and China all have 5.
I know.
So why does Japan get
I'm going off of how they were ordered on the Olympic website. Please stop questioning every single question I have, Chris. I went off of the literal Olympic website.
Yeah, but when they're tied, you got to think they're all tied for 10. That's what I used to do when I used to do this game. I mean, Chris should be getting the credit for Canada. He had top 10. What's the difference? I'm looking out for Chris here. He picked Canada. It's 5. It's the same as Japan. Why does Japan get the nod? Go ahead, Chris.
Let's try Austria.
Austria's 8th. They had 5.
Also 5. Wow. Okay, so top 10 would have been.
And Chris,
they would have been all tied for 8th then.
And Chris, that is your 5th one. So you are guaranteed to be qualified for the tickets, which I don't even remember what they are right now.
Zach Bryan,
thank you very much.
My
Chris,
next guess would have been Germany.
And that would have sealed it. So it would have been a 5-5 split. Congratulations, Chris. Hang on the line.
How many did Germany get? 9?
They had 8 as well with 26 overall. So, Chris, hang on the line. I will get your information during the break. I put out a decent question.
It's a great question, but
finally,
we need to know how
I put out
tiebreakers work.
I went off of the top 10 on the Olympic official website. That's what I did.
But if they're tied, they all are tied for 9th. They wouldn't be. So you would be like, hey, here's the top 10 gold medal winners. But there's 13 of them because there is a 4-way tie for 9th.
Okay.
They're all top 10 because there's a 4-way tie.
And you know what the funny part is about that?
For 9th.
You know what the funny part about that is?
What?
He got Canada, you got China, so you still would have ended up tied.
Right?
So there you go.
But I don't know why like you I think Chris got hosed with the Canada thing. That should have been. You should have gave him the correct buzzer.
Is he still qualified for the tickets?
Yeah, he does.
Well, then there you go.
I'm just saying though. But this is.
If he would have lost, then you would have had a gripe. But he didn't. He won.
These are easily avoided questions.
He won.
As Juan says, you found a way to mess it up, Frank. Come on now. We were. It was so much. We were looking at. It was so promising. We're making progress, though, guys. That's the best part. The progress is happening. That was a great question. But when you have multiple entities tied for the same thing, they all have to count. They're part of the top 10. They're
noted
tied.
For next time. Noted.
So when
for
you have a
next
question that has a tie, it's like there are 13 answers.
And you still would have tied.
I'm not caring about the results. It's the process, okay? We talked about this for spring training. The results, we don't care about the way your batting averages right now, Frank. We care about the process of your at-bat. I didn't like the way you swung at that pitch. That's a pitch you should spit on.
I will.
That's where we're at right here.
I will take a harder look and spit on less pitches.
No, we need you to spit on more pitches. We do.
I will spit.
That needs to be a drop. I will spit. Trav, do better. Hey, but he's still going to hit. That's all that matters. It's the process. It's the process. This is one of those situations where, as a coach, your player does the wrong thing and gets rewarded for it. That's the whole, like, good job, don't ever do it again. That's kind of where we're at right here with this. I'm just saying. I was looking out for Chris. He got Canada right. Got an extra. You know what? He got 6 right. He could have won this earlier. How about that? We could have been done with this earlier. Efficiency. We're getting better, Frank. You know what? I know for a fact Adam's not going to come in here and make fun of you on this one. He didn't have any shots in the chat.
Hey, it's been.
You got Jim Joyce in the game. You got Jim Joyce.
I did it right, but call was wrong.
Call was wrong. Did it right, but the call was wrong. Frank had a no-hit. Frank had a perfect game going. He started off with the question. People were like, "Wow, this is a great question, Frank. This is not like you. This is amazing.
This is not like you. You did something right. Hold on.
Did somebody replace Frank with somebody else? This is a great question. This is too good to be true." Both guys rolling the list. Guy guessed Canada. Sorry, that's 5. That's not in the top 10. Then you get later. Guy guessed Japan. Yeah, that comes in at number 10 with 5 gold medals. And everybody's making the face. But I thought Canada also had 5. Wouldn't they be tied? And I knew it was going to be a problem because Frank immediately went into depressed, upset mode. Which means we were close, ladies and gentlemen. Frank was cruising on the 9th inning. He made it through the 7th inning stretch. He peeked at the scoreboard. He saw the 0 in the hits column. He saw the 0 on the board in the walks column. He makes it through the 7th inning. He goes out there for the 8th inning. He starts talking to himself out there on the mound, like for the love of the game. In the movie,
it is the Billy Chappell moment.
It was Frank's Billy Chappell moment. This is as the game is going on. He gets to the 9th inning. Somebody drops a Sweden answer on there to get locked in, and then with the 1 out, he gets a ground ball to the infield, throw to first. Somebody says Canada with 5 points, or sorry, somebody says Japan with 5, and Jim Joyce calls the guy safe at a bang bang play. And Frank's no-hitter / perfect game is no mas. That's what happened in the midday sports standoff.
Interesting I brought up Billy Chappell because that was also the Tigers, too.
It was the Tigers. It was the Tigers.
And also, by the way, Juan.
Hold on, before we get there.
Okay.
We have to drop the close. Close. Frank was close today. Juan's going to need the...
Juan's going to need a different drop here.
Well, he's going to need the Mick Cronin drop in a second, but we have to point out something in this whole process of me making fun of Frank during the break about being close. I'm glad that we both caught Gwen and Chris at the same time yesterday. Now, for a guy that makes fun of Scraby's questions a lot, that guy is Juan Ruiz. He is constantly making fun of Scraby's questions. It's got some of the worst questions. And lo and behold, who dials in to Chris versus the fans to test the dumb questions that he thinks?
That would be Juan.
That would be Juan. He's still
playing.
Yeah. Juan in Oceanside, Juan in Vista, Juan in North County. Guy runs the North County. He decides to call in and take on. He tempted fate with to his self-proclaimed dumb questions of Matt Scraby. What was the first question? Oh my God! Do you remember the first question?
No, I don't remember. No. I didn't hear it. I only saw it in the results that he got it.
What is the name of the spring training baseball he played in Florida? That was question number 1. I know it gets to a different heightened level.
It's played in Florida, so it's the Orange League, right?
Orange Citrus League?
Yeah.
Scraby wanted to call it, that would be the Citrus Bowl, Matt. No, it was the Grapefruit League.
Oh,
Easy.
Darn it. I'm already
One's
out.
off to a hot start. I couldn't remember the second question. I think it was moderately easy. And then Juan, knowing he took another chance with fate, rolling the dice that Chris Ello would not know the answer to some crazy question, which was which team had the number 1 pick in the MLB draft last year.
That was
I don't remember who that was. I don't care.
Was it the
It wasn't the Rockies.
Was it the no, it wasn't the White Sox either, was it?
I don't remember who it was. And then they said like what the name of the team or the player was. I'm like, I don't know. Was it the Pirates?
It might have. Hold on. Now you got me.
Juan should know. He won yesterday.
I've done enough MLB The Show Dynasties. I think I would have remembered who picked first in the 2025 draft.
It's the Nationals.
Yes.
Nationals pick first again. You would think they wouldn't pick first that many times.
That'll go well for them.
Pick first. Yeah, well, we'll see. Juan rolling the dice with the questions and then against the Human Almanac and Chris Ello. Not the first question. What state was the Grapefruit League played in? Oh, whatever. Florida. Come on. It's still ridiculously easy. Eli Willits was the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm sure I butchered his name. I don't know who he is. I'll know who he is when he makes it to the pros. Okay. After the thing with that. Oh, by the way, foul on Frank for not updating the liner sheet. I don't want to just pile on Frank here, but
what did I?
Zach Bryan, dude. It says Zach Bryan in the liner sheet.
I just told you what happened with that.
I'm just saying.
It's Guns N' Roses this week, guys.
It's Guns N' Roses this week. We got Aztec tickets to give away in a little bit, but is this correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Everything on there is correct except for yes.
That's a foul on me, pushing too fast. Today's biggest fan.
He draws the foul.
Jonathan Tippin in Santee. Jonathan Tippin in Santee. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you will qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season. Catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefantasy.com/biggest fan. Jonathan Tippin in Santee. You got 10 minutes.
Go Aztecs. Since you won't say my name, could I register to be Frank's biggest fan? Yes, you can, but you're not going to a ball game with me. Sorry.
That's rude. Why was that so rude?
I'm laying out boundaries here. It's a boundary laying out. You might win it. Who knows? But we got to set ground rules and boundaries here.
Frank's biggest fan. What do you win? Baked ziti?
Sure. Yeah, you win a dinner.
Wow, that was harsh. You win a dinner.
You win a dinner cooked by me.
Wow.
Not eaten together, but you'll win the dinner.
What is the main thing that you can cook? Your favorite thing to cook? What's the best thing Frank Marchese cooks?
It's
that cheesecake you make. Is that your dad's? Or
that's
is that yours?
My dad's.
Oh, okay.
I can't.
You just take. He does when he shows up, Mr. Marchese. He's like, "Oh, I made this cheesecake with this custard. I made this cheesecake."
No, I never. No, I always say it's my dad's. The
lasagna he made.
You remember
amazing.
Sam? You remember Sam the cooking guy, right? Of course.
I love Sam the cooking guy. I actually rode in the elevator with Sam the cooking guy here.
Oh, really?
Time. Yeah, he was jumping on John and Tammy or some other station here, and I'm like in the elevator with him.
Yeah,
and he was asking where like Odyssey was, and I was like trying to play it cool, like, oh yeah, I don't really know who you are, Sam the cooking guy. Yeah, sure, Sam the cooking guy.
Yeah, sure, Sam the random cooking guy.
I used to love watching that on Channel 4. Sam the he would like open his fridge, just pull out random stuff. Oh yeah, then just throw this on there. And just throw that. He's great. We should have him on the show. Oh, you know what? I think he went on with Ben and Woods that day. I think that's what it was.
I think it might have been Bud Black was on an episode of that.
He was on with Sam the cooking guy.
And he had a family recipe for like sausage and macaroni that we still have to this. It is my death row meal. It'll be my
death row meal.
If that will be the last thing I ever have on this earth. If for some reason I end up on death row, probably because I got mad in traffic.
Yeah, that's probably the bet. That's honestly
that would be if we had a Kalshi bet on that. That would probably be how it happened.
You'd have to do another state though. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, that sausage and macaroni dish, that would be the
sausage and macaroni. I need to know more.
It's it's ground sausage.
Italian sausage?
Yes, grounded, of course, Italian sausage.
Well, you never know, man. I mean, you could do like the hot breakfast sausage. I know.
No. It's ground sausage with whatever pasta you want, heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, and like all salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, all that stuff.
All the seasonings.
Yeah, and then just mixed in there, all mixed up together.
You know
so
what?
Good.
You should wear those meta glasses I just got and cook it.
I'm down for that.
Put it on Frankie Casing's Instagram.
And it's funny. I genuinely think it was Bud Black's recipe. One of the things that they made when Bud Black was on that show. Which is interesting. Yeah. Funny how that turns around.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I wonder if you asked Bud Black that, if you would remember
yeah, that would be an interesting question to ask.
Dang, he already went on with Ben and Woods. It's not a bad question. We got to ask Gwen and Chris when they go to spring training and ask him.
Vegan.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Brother, do you think I got to 410 pounds being a vegan? You think I topped out at $400 eating bushes and grass? Is that honestly what you think?
That's what rabbits eat.
No, I'm not a closet vegan.
Closet vegan? That came out of nowhere. That didn't even make any sense. Plus, how would he eat the pizza he eats? You can have pizza if you're a vegan, right?
No.
They get non-dairy and stuff too, unless you get oh God. You would get like a cauliflower crust and like the non-dairy cheese. Oh God. Oh. I do agree. Yeah, Sea Dog. Now we're talking. Sea Dog. Out of nowhere, Frank saying he won't go to a game with me. That is true.
We set ground rules. We set boundaries.
All right, so we established that as in this long roundabout. If you were to win, if they did a contest of Frank's biggest fan, the winner would get
a dinner.
A dinner, which was now determined to be. What did you name? Sausage, macaroni, cheese?
It's sausage and macaroni. That's what we've always called it.
Macaroni.
I don't remember a name. Sausage and macaroni, but it's
sounds good. That's what you would make.
That was the last thing I had before I had my surgery. Actually, I made a giant pot of it. Had it before I came in here. Did the game. Had the rest of it after the game. Wanted to throw up. And then immediately after that, started my 2-week liquid diet before I had my surgery, my weight loss surgery.
That would be something I would eat before I couldn't eat for a long time too.
Yep.
That's very hearty, very, I wouldn't say nutritious, but definitely.
That was the last bit of regular, normal, no restrictions food that I had for 2 months. 2.5 months, actually. I couldn't eat again until. I couldn't eat with no restrictions again until Christmas of 2024.
See, my thing is always changed. Like for your birthday, do you eat that? Like for your birthday dinner?
Usually.
Something you request?
It's whatever. Yeah, with our family, it's whatever you request on your birthday is what you get. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mine's always changing. That's the thing. Like I'm always changing for different stuff. I mean, it's good. Like when I wasn't living here and when I was in college, like it was good to have pasta.
Mm-hmm.
The pasta and the red sauce and, family meatballs, stuff like that. But sometimes you'd come back, it'd be too warm to have that. You don't want to have that on a hot day. It doesn't hit right. You got to go with the lighter pasta if that's the case.
Yeah.
And so you'd mix up with maybe some barbecue or stuff on the charcoal and stuff like that, steaks, stuff. But to me, the only thing I request for my birthday, which is coming up, you guys can give me gifts if you want. Just kidding. Don't actually do that. Is I love chocolate and peanut butter to an unhealthy level. Buckeye pie, I must have. It's every birthday.
Nice.
Have you ever heard of Buckeye pie?
No.
Do you know what Buckeye pie is?
No.
Well, you can't because you can't have. You'll die if you eat it. Although I guess you won't die now. It's not as bad, right? Did we determine that?
I don't know. I'm still not going to have peanuts.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm also not going to have shellfish either. That I found out, but.
I hate the Ohio State Buckeyes. I love Buckeye pie. They're not mutually exclusive. But Buckeye pie is like an Oreo cookie crust, peanut butter filling. But it's like smooth peanut butter mixed with like sugar and some other stuff. So it's like a creamier deal. And then a chocolate ganache on top.
Okay.
Slice of that. I It's great stuff. Now, the problem is it's super rich. It's a lot of peanut butter. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't, it's not like you're getting that all the time. That's the only time I cash in on that. Sometimes I feel like you got to be strategic with some of the stuff that's really bad for you.
100%.
Be like, I'm cashing in my birthday request that they have to say yes to on the Buckeye Pie. That's what I get with that. In terms of dinner and stuff, that kind of changes where to go. You know, like where to go in town for dinner. So it's nice to go out to dinner for your birthday. Sunday, usually that week, we'll do like a homemade Sunday dinner. Mm-hmm. And so with my birthday being in March, it's kind of starting to heat up a little bit. So, a lot of it's there. Like you can't always go to a nice restaurant though for your birthday. So the day of your birthday, sometimes you got to get something close. Mexican food is always, that's a lock on a weekday, on a weekday birthday. I like sushi and stuff too, but I feel that to be a little bit more weekendy. But to get a taco shop, carne asada burrito, and that's the thing, you cash in on one of your favorite spots. You might have to drive a little bit, but you know what? It gets done.
Yep.
It gets done on the birthday. So
I'm trying to remember, because Rod brought it up in the chat. I'm trying to remember if Scraby and I did the beaver nugget thing before or after my surgery. Rod's saying it was after, and they were showing they showed that clip the other day. Yeah, Scraby always
on one of the YouTube commercial breaks. I think it was after.
It might have been. Was I wearing like you saw do you remember the red like sweater I was wearing at the Christmas party? It had like a collar on it.
No.
Okay. Well, I have a gray one too. If I was wearing one of those, then I know it was after.
Why aren't we talking sports, Frank? Always happens. Always happens. Been talking about it the whole time.
Brother, it's been 3 hours, man.
God forbid we talk about the guy's passion for food. We mix in the food stuff.
We'll yell about Arte Moreno next segment.
We are going to yell about Arte Moreno next segment. Top 10 list of what Angels fans prioritize according to Arte Moreno. We might have to come back with that list when we come back. Padres update for you as well. Also, it looks like our biggest fan's on hold. We also got to give away tickets to the Aztec basketball game. We got all of that to do still in the 1 o'clock hour. Braden Surprenant Show continues live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Well, we'll have the NHL back this week, but it was a big display over at the Olympics with so many NHL players representing multiple countries, obviously coming down to the big game between Team USA and Canada, gold medal matchup, and USA winning historic gold.
Yep, absolutely. First men's Olympic gold since 1980, ending Canada's best on best dominance. Jack Hughes with the overtime 3-on-3 winner. Over Canada in the headline moment, bloodied, teeth lost, perseverance exemplified. But the story of the night for the United States was for sure Connor Hellebuyck, 41 save masterpiece, one of the best Olympic goaltending performances ever, and an image on Devon Toews that is going to last forever.
Canada, surprising setbacks. Sidney Crosby likely in his final Olympics, injured for the gold medal game. Josh Morrissey absent. Roster selection debates ongoing. Teen phenom Macklin Telebrini shown, but couldn't overcome the U.S. defensive effort. Powerhouse nation showing some parity. Finland got bronze. Slovakia semifinals. Sweden a little underperforming, but overall, for Team Canada, it's a tough loss, but this isn't a miracle. This is two NHL All-Star teams competing at a high level and getting to the golden goal.
Yeah, this is two NHL powerhouses, and both these teams, we said it, with the route that they took to get to where they were. The games last week, we thought against Sweden and Czechia, we thought were going to be the toughest games. And they proved to be. We didn't think they were going to be as tough as they were, forcing both the U.S. and Canada to go into overtime. But they struggled against those teams. Now they playing each other. They also go to overtime. Also, you had the two women's teams going to overtime against each other. So, I mean, it was the perfect send-off for the Olympics this year, and one that I'm sure the Olympics was very happy that they got.
And they got the ice ready in time, too.
Yes.
That was an event that almost never happened.
Yep.
Because of the situation in Milan. Let's talk about some of the standouts and the disappointing NHL players, Frank. Let's start with some of the standout NHL players who represented their countries. No surprise that it's mostly Team USA and Team Canada players.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie McAvoy, player for a defender for the Boston Bruins, played very, very well on defense. Quinn Hughes for the Minnesota Wild, top pairing, key playoff style performances out of him. Jack Hughes, his brother, playing for the New Jersey Devils, got the golden goal. He'll be remembered forever. Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers for Team Canada, tournament MVP, Canada's leading scorer. You also had Jack Eichel, forward for the Vegas Golden Knights, complete two-way game, anchored that top line. One of the players for the Canadians who played for the, I believe that's a Slovakian team, Yuri Slavkovsky, I believe. Sorry, led Slovakia to the semifinals, 7 points in 4 games. You also had Tage Thompson as well, underused but highly effective, contributed to the U.S. goal, player for the Buffalo Sabres. Had a very, very good tournament as well.
Let's look at some of the disappointments. No surprise with the way that Sweden disappointed that they're going to have some disappointments on this list.
Yeah, certainly. Sam Reinhart, forward for the Carolina Panthers, ineffective in limited top 6 minutes. William Nylander for Team Sweden for the Toronto Maple Leafs, needed more of him. He's one of the top paid players on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's also one of the reasons why the Maple Leafs lost Mitch Marner, was because they had to pay William Nylander's salary. Former Anaheim Duck, current Pittsburgh Penguin, Ricard Raquel, had minimal impact for Sweden in limited time on ice. Philip Forsberg for the Nashville Predators, also very underwhelming. And Ducks goalkeeper for Czechia, Lucas Dostal, he was good, but he was just inconsistent with a .886 save percentage. Not good enough.
So now looking for the second half of the NHL season, we're going to get NHL hockey back later this week, but gold medalists return to the NHL with confidence. Hellebuck has got to go into the second half of the season fired up. The Hughes brothers.
I don't know how fired up he'll be playing for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the other thing too, is playing in Canada for Canadian teams when you are an American. Eichel, Larkin, McAvoy, and others could impact the playoff pushes with what they did.
Yeah, absolutely. You also got to look at momentum versus fatigue. Will Olympic success translate to the NHL, to NHL performance immediately? Some players may carry over momentum. Others might face a little bit of wear and tear. This is kind of a normal NHL break, though. You got about 4 or 5 days between sometimes.
I'm going to ask a San Diego State trivia question and give away tickets against Utah State. So stay tuned for that. I'm Braden Surprenant. He's Frank Marchese. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego Summer Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. All right. We want to mention we broadcast live for the Bill House Studios each and every day. We know how. And all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. You know what's better? A lot of front offices that are not the Angels. That's what's better. Did anybody see this over the weekend? We didn't have time to get to it yesterday, but I think you're going to enjoy. Well, maybe you're not going to enjoy this. The Los Angeles Angels, who are a disaster.
Of Anaheim.
Of Fullerton, of Huntington Beach,
yeah.
Of
Disneyland.
Of Disneyland, of Irvine.
I still hold up that the very last of the 90s, very beginning of the 2000s Angels jerseys are absolutely incredible, by the way.
I hate the fact that they're no longer the California
before they
Angels,
went to the red,
which is way cooler. Do you not like the California Angels?
No, I thought they were fine. I'm saying the jerseys, the one with like the Angels, the harp. I thought those were unbelievable. The ones before they went to the
You like
Reds.
the Mo Vaughn?
Yes.
You like the Mo Vaughn ones?
Mm-hmm.
The Disney versions?
I like those.
Guy loves the mouse over here. Huh.
You don't have to do that. I get.
Huh. Sounds the same. It's great. It's great. Okay. The Angels. Remember, they're not the Los Angeles Angels. They're your Angels when they announce it. Oh, they're your Angels for sure.
Calling all of them.
The Angels owner, Arte Moreno, sparked some controversy over winning comments over the weekend. The comments that set off alarm bells. The Angels owner told reporters that winning is not among the top 5 priorities for fans, claiming that affordability, safety, and ballpark experience matter more to fans. Quote. You want to hear the direct quote from Arte Moreno?
Please, for the love of God, tell me the quote.
Believe it or not, winning is not in their top 5. As a fan of the team, winning is not top 5. There's not a top 5 priority for fans that are Angels fans. Moreno said the organization conducted surveys supporting that belief, but no details were provided. The Angels declined to clarify what survey, who was surveyed, or how the question was phrased. No public data has validated the claim. And you know what? As much as we talked about the players' union and everything, it's not working out for them. Man, did they get thrown a bone. They're like, oh, thank you, Angels. Thank you for really giving us some fodder for everybody.
We have been fumbling this. Thank you for kicking it right back to us. Thank you so much.
Moreno said the Players Union reacted. The comments did not go unnoticed. The Players Association Executive Director Bruce Myers said players took notice. Why wouldn't they? Union took notice as well. Players expect ownership to compete with the same urgency they bring to the field. Myers strongly pushed back on the notion that winning is secondary, especially in a major market like Southern California. Hang on a second. Are they a major market and we're not a major market? Are we gonna conclude that they're Los Angeles now? Now they're actually LA, or what's semantics? I'll move on from that. If you can't have a successful operation in Los Angeles, it's hard to see what the problem is. This is what I love about the Angels, right? Like they'll claim that they're part of Los Angeles to try to get fans to go down there and watch, but then like when it comes to being a major market, then they start dropping the Orange County crap on everybody. Oh, we're just Anaheim. We're not actually LA. You can't have it both ways. Payroll cuts in financial context. 2025 payroll, $206 million. 2026 payroll, $155 million, including deferred money owed to Anthony Rendon. Luxury tax threshold in 2026 is $244 million. Angels have not exceeded the tax since 2003. You want to tell me what's going on about 2003, Frank? What the significance is of 2003 when it comes to Angels baseball?
They played the Giants that year, did they not?
They played the Giants in 2002.
Oh, it was 2000.
They won the World Series in 2002, and then who took over as the owner in 2003?
Moreno?
Arte Moreno. Arte Moreno's never seen this team win the World Series. He bought a team that won a World Series and then has never exceeded any luxury tax threshold since 2003.
Oh, that's right, because it was Marlins, Yankees, still 3. Yep, that's right.
Despite freeing money through restructuring Rendon's contract, the Angels did not even reinvest those savings. Moreno cited a broken TV deal with Main Street Sports Group, ongoing revenue issues, need to improve the Angels brand. You know, you could improve the brand by winning games and maybe not wasting the entire career of Mike Trout, who decided to be loyal to the organization that drafted him.
When he very clearly did not have to be. By the way.
He could be a Philly right now, probably. He'd probably love that a little bit more. The team currently has no announced television partner and is not even broadcasting spring training games. Union's larger concern, the Players Association sees the Angels as troubling because they operate in one of the largest media markets in the country. Comparable large market teams, Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, and Blue Jays all spend aggressively. And Moreno appears to treat the luxury tax threshold like a salary cap, something the union has criticized before. This is why you don't want a salary cap, because you got guys like Arte Moreno out there. Moreno later clarified that his personal priority is winning, but questioned the cost of winning right now. The fans don't want to win, but I want to win. I just want to do what the fans are doing.
You know what's funny? If you watched the Who Killed the Montreal Expos documentary on Netflix that came out a couple months ago,
I did not watch it. No.
This is pretty much the same thing that the original owner of the Expos went through. You know what he decided to do? He loved the team to death. He wanted to see that team win more than anything else. But he saw the writing on the wall as to how expensive it was going to be in order to field a competitive team, which is pretty much what Arte Moreno has said. You know what the original owner of the Montreal Expos did?
Speak French.
He sold the team.
Well, they moved him out of there. I don't necessarily know if that's great.
That was
either.
the last thing that he wanted to do. He died, and he sold it because he couldn't afford it anymore. Artie, learn from history. Take notes.
So, since Arte Moreno said that the Angels fans' priorities are not winning, and it's not even top 5, the top 10 priorities Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno. Number 10. Search for, according to Arte Moreno, a payroll, but only if the TV... We don't have numbers through 10, do we?
No, we do not. Only 5.
Number 9. A luxury tax threshold treated like an electric fence.
Okay.
The number 8 top 10 priority Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno, television partner is. Number 7 of the top 10 priority to Arte Moreno, spring training games in.
Well, right now it's just spring training games. They're not broadcasting any of them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Number 6 of the top 10 things Angels fan Arte Moreno, the authentic, quote, major market, small ambition experience. Time to get to number 5.
Number 5.
The number 5 top 10 priority Angels fans search for, according to their owner, Arte Moreno, the joy of explaining to their kids what deferred payment means, thanks to Anthony Rendon. That's a good one.
Oh, God.
Number 4.
Number 4.
The number 4 top 10 priority Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno, a brand that improves itself while the roster does not. But improve the brand.
Oh,
Number 3.
Oh, sorry.
Number 3.
The number 3 top 10 priority Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno, the comfort of knowing $200 million payroll is probably coming back someday.
Number 2.
The number 2 top 10 priority Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno, affordable tickets to watch the Dodgers win the offseason.
Number 1.
And the number 1 priority Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno, safety, affordability, and the peace of mind that winning isn't cluttering up the top 5 priorities. And that are the top 10 priorities Angels fans search for, according to Arte Moreno.
God, man.
That's pretty good. Search for, according to.
And now, while we go to break, you're going to look over here and you're going to laugh hysterically because I have found something that I can keep my eye on during the break and enjoy.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Involve trains.
Might do.
Trivia question for you. To win Aztec tickets, if you're the first one to call in, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. First one to call in and answer this trivia question, you will win 2 tickets to see San Diego State take on Utah State at Viejas Arena on Wednesday, February 25th at 8 p.m. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Can you name me the current starting quarterback in the NFL that is a Utah State Aggie? First one to call in and tell me who the starting quarterback is. That is a Utah State. Win tickets to San Diego State and Utah State. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. We'll announce the winner when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. About the trade deadline a couple of weeks ago. Our weekend, giving a little bit of juice. That's over. And now we've got two split into three clear lanes. The true contenders, teams trying to convince themselves they're contenders, and teams openly racing to the bottom. We got a massive problem with the tanking in the NBA too. But let's start at the top, Frank.
Yep. The Thunder right now are still the team to beat. They're the projected number one seed in the West, projected to get 61 wins this season. Best net rating profile. MVP front runner Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still doing exactly what he was doing last year to get Oklahoma City where he was. And also elite defense anchored by Chet Holmgren have really helped Oklahoma City stay on that perch that they were at last year.
And their biggest threat right now is the Denver Nuggets. If healthy, Nikola Jokic and a deeper supporting cast makes Denver the most dangerous postseason matchup for the Thunder. And they have already pushed Oklahoma City to 7 last year. So they're going to be another threat in the Western Conference for sure if they can remain healthy. But here's the key. Oklahoma City feels younger. They feel faster. They just feel hungrier. And SGA is playing like a guy who wants to remove all doubt in that MVP race.
Yeah, it's just because they won the championship last year. They're not saying, okay, well, we got ours, so let's go and have fun. No, they are fighting for a second one. They are going for back-to-back. And for an organization that's been kind of in the middle of nowhere ever since Durant and Harden in that era, they've really come back, and they've come back with a fury.
And we're going to talk about that MVP watch in just a second, but let's talk about the East first. The East is more interesting than you think. Everyone assumed this would be a 2-team conference. It's not. Detroit has the best record and Coach of the Year favorite in JB Bickerstaff. Cleveland Cavaliers added James Harden and are surging. Boston Celtics are surviving without Jason Tatum, and the New York Knicks, your New York Knicks, hanging around the 2-3 seed mix. Wild card Boston. Tatum comes back at even 80%. Their shooting profile makes them terrifying. They don't need him to be Superman. They need him to defend and space. But this is a fun race here in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and Cleveland is fascinating as well, because this dynamic with Harden and Donovan Mitchell either raises their ceiling or recreates just old playoff trauma. And we thought at the trade deadline that it would be the latter of those two. But with the way that Cleveland has really turned it around ever since they got James Harden, it may actually be the former in this case.
Second half kind of preview after this little bit of a break at the All-Star break was the MVP watch. SGA, Jokic, is that it? Again, shaping up to be another SGA versus Jokic battle. SGA, 32 points per game, 67% true shooting, number one seed impact. And for Jokic, it's leading the league in rebounds and assists, historic advanced metrics. Missed games may cost Jokic in the entire MVP discussion, but voter fatigue could matter. Narrative could matter. Health will definitely matter. If Oklahoma City locks up the number one seed by a wide margin, I'd be hard pressed to give it to anybody besides SGA.
Yeah, I think Gilgeous-Alexander probably does end up with it no matter what. Jokic has been very, very good this season, has missed a little bit of time, but when you're the number one player on the number one seed in the number one team in basketball, it's kind of hard to pick away from him.
The tanking problem. Most uncomfortable truth about the NBA right now. The most intense competition is at the bottom. It's Utah, already fined for lineup manipulation. It's Washington and the Brooklyn Nets openly rebuilding. It's the Memphis Grizzlies who have made moves that scream lottery positioning. And Adam Silver has floated a lot of different ideas out there. We've talked about some of those ideas, but flattening lottery odds, heavy fines, stripping picks. The honesty here is they might have to do something. They have to do something, and they might have to do one, if not multiple of these things, because right now the bottom 8 teams are playing a different game than the top 8.
Yeah. Now, and it is also it is a problem. Okay. So it is definitely an issue, but a lot of this was brought on by one of the stories that we had in the sports thread last week, that gambling companies calling into the NBA office saying, hey, you guys are
141 on a Tuesday. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. It's the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3. The Fan. Answer to the trivia question was, who is the current starting quarterback in the NFL that went to Utah State?
Jordan No Love.
Jordan Love, who works out here during the offseason. How about that?
How about that?
What did the first guy say? I can't even remember.
I don't know.
He said a name that was an NFL player from Utah State, but we said current. Somebody said Josh Allen. He went to Wyoming. Who won the tickets? Gerardo? Is that what you said?
Yes, it was Gerardo in San Diego, winner of the tickets.
Congratulations to Gerardo in San Diego. Our boy Nick DiNucci said he was laughing his you-know-what off at the top 10. It's pretty funny. We got an update on the Padre game. Padres down 3-2, middle of 5. The latest update we had was in the second inning, but a couple of guys got some knocks. The inning in which the Padres scored was the fourth?
Yes.
Fourth inning?
Top four.
Top four. So top four, Jacob Webb came in for Daniel Palencia for the Cubs. Mason McCoy flew out. Pablo Reyes flew out. Rodolfo Duran worked a walk. Wild pitch by Jacob Webb moved Duran to second base with 2 outs. Then Bryce Johnson walked. And then Nick Castellanos came up with a double on a fly ball to center field. Rodolfo Duran scored. Bryce Johnson scored, made it a 3-2 game. They brought in Vince Riley to replace Jacob Webb. Andujar walked, and then Sungmoon Song grounded out to end the inning. But the Padres added a couple back. And Nick Castellanos now has a couple of knocks today. He's 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, hitting 286 now in spring training. There you go. There's your update. In all seriousness about the Angels situation, I'm trying to think of like priorities. I could see. I don't want to defend Arte Moreno, but I can see where, if you use the context of if he thought it was talking about fans going to actual games, because a lot of the stuff he said was like game stuff, safety, affordability, like it was all about going to the game. Stuff. And so from that particular sense, if they were asking like season ticket members what they want to see during a game, I could see why they would pick some of those things as a priority. Like, let me ask you this question. With the baseball season being as long as it is, when you go to you like going to the press box, but when you go to a game as a fan, what do you want to expect? Like, what are you looking for in an experience at the game? Is it only if they win or lose? Or are you thinking about other things about the full experience of going to the game? Because I can understand where he's coming from. When I go to Padre games, yes, I want the team to win, but if they lose, it doesn't mean my trip to the Padre game was a miserable, awful experience.
No, and for me, I did it mostly as a mental break. That was why I did it. I wanted to get away and escape and get engrossed into a game. But no, I mean, safety, concession prices, maybe depending upon, and getting a seat near the concession stands that I like the most. Those would be my top priorities, other than just forgetting about the world for a couple hours.
Yeah, he said affordability, safety, and ballpark experience matter more. I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm going to a game and I'm spending money to go to a game, those are like the 3 main priorities I would have as a fan going to a game. Like, yeah, I want my team to win, but you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to deal with fights. I don't think anybody wants to deal with fights. There's people that go for fights. That's like at certain games and audiences. I don't want to deal with fights or people fighting. Affordability, yeah. If I go to a game, I would like to not have it cost me $500. I don't want it to be like a trip to Disneyland, if that makes sense. I don't want it to be a situation where it's like I only get to go once a year because it's super expensive, right? So like these are what this is what I guarantee you happened with this entire conversation. If you're looking at it with like just straight logic, they probably asked people that go to Angels games what they look for in going to an Angels game, and they probably threw winning in on there. And most fans probably were like, well, I care about like how expensive it is. How safe is it for my kids?
Yeah, it was
like what the experience, like, do you have cool places to check out during the game? And if he uses that as like priorities for every fan, like when they're just watching on TV, it doesn't make any sense. Like most fans are not going to every single game. They're watching on television. None of those issues would be a priority for them watching on television. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like Arte Moreno was talking about the in-stadium experience in the surveys they did, and everybody else was asking him about Angels fans and what they want to see out of their team, which is two totally drastic things. Update for you. Rod, Cubs up 4-2. They just took a 4-2 lead. They made it 3-2. The Padres did after scoring 2 runs off of the Nick Castellanos RBI double. And then the bottom half of the 5th inning, Cubs have added a run as it is now, who is into the game now? This is Francis Pena is now into the game for the Padres. He came in for Bradley Rodriguez. Matt Shaw lined out. Carson Kelly hit a homer. 3 out in the innings. I mean, from a fan perspective, I get where that's coming from, because when you go to Padre games, you want it to be safe, which it always is. You want it to be affordable. They have deals for you to go to games with different stuff. You want the fun experience. I think they've made Petco Park a great place to be, where you could still go have a fun time and leave happy, even though the team, like, you're going to be upset the team lost, but there's so many games. It's not, you shouldn't be losing too much sleep over it. So I understand where he's coming from on some of that stuff. I do want to get to, we didn't have time to get to him earlier, but to kind of go back to some Padres baseball. Garrett Hawkins has looked pretty good so far this camp. Again, it's spring training. It is what it is. But AJ Cassavell wrote a piece on Garrett Hawkins.
I don't think that was that Cassavell?
Was it not? No, it was Jesse Borick.
Yeah, it was a minor league writer.
It was MILB.com. So he wrote with bullet point note. I mean, he wrote a deep dive into Garrett Hawkins, who was the organization pitcher of the year from last year. So this is kind of the setup of like what he is as a player, as you get to know some of these guys that are trying to battle for a team. On April 23rd, 2025, Garrett Hawkins allowed 2 runs in relief for High Fort Wayne. Through 6 appearances, his ERA sat at 6.3. At 25 years old, coming off of Tommy John surgery, he's tried to find his footing, and then everything flipped for him. 38 consecutive scoreless innings, spanned 29 appearances across High A and Double A, just allowed 19 base runners during that stretch, struck out 51 hitters. It is the longest scoreless streak in the minors in a decade, and he finished 2025 as a Padres minor league pitcher of the year. 1.50 ERA, got to have a minimum of 30 innings, a 0.85 whip, a 138 batting average, and a 2.22 fielding independent pitching. That is a massive transformation. I mean, he went from a fringe arm trying to see if he could still play at a professional level to what has now been a dominant reliever and a future dominant reliever, hopefully, for the San Diego Padres. Now, the role that sparked all of this, he went from a starter to a bullpen guy full-time. First relief role since rookie ball in 2021. Uncertainty early about role, but committed to being steady, and he credits the subtle mechanical tweaks, getting into a rhythm, not thinking about the streak, and learning routine and preparation. He developed a relationship with Tyson Neighbors, who later was traded in the Ramon Laureano, Ryan O'Hearn deal, and a contrast in styles between Neighbors and Hawkins. Neighbors high energy, Hawkins is more even keeled. He learned routine and discipline from the bullpen culture. And his stuff is playing up in relief. He's a 6'5" frame with a strong fastball command. As a starter, his fastball is at 92, 94. As a reliever, 95, 96. Ability to attack the zone is his calling card. And working closely with pitching coach Ruben Niebla to refine secondary pitches. He's got a fastball foundation. Off-speed development is key to big league viability. And now in big league camp, he has been added to the 40-man roster this winter. He made Cactus League appearance yesterday in a 7-5 win over the Brewers, and he recorded a save after established MLB arms pitched in front of him. Mason Miller, Jeremiah Estrada, David Morgan. He's in the mix for an opening day bullpen spot. Depth may create a numbers crunch and kind of a numbers game, but as Craig Stammen said about Garrett Hawkins, now it's proving it in the big league setting. He finished 2025 at AA. He ranked as the Padres number 19 prospect entering camp. He is expected to rise in updated rankings. Organization views MLB debut as a matter of when, if not if. The Padres bullpen pipeline continues producing power arms. I use this as a situation, Frank, as we wrap up the show. One, it's going to be fun to watch Garrett Hawkins the rest of spring. Mm-hmm. Two, I think it forces more competition for the bullpen. But three, and the most important thing here, is the fact that as we talked about with potentially moving relievers to starters, which I don't think they're obviously not doing because we haven't seen anybody do that yet. The biggest gripe was don't pull from the bullpen. And what did we answer with? You can get bullpen arms. And just think about the transition of starting pitcher Garrett Hawkins not being very good to bullpen Garrett Hawkins all of a sudden being a frontline guy to potentially crack this bullpen.
Yeah, and this is the depth that you're hoping to find in spring training like this. A guy who comes out of nowhere and can fill a hole, fill a spot. And that's exactly what it looks like Garrett Hawkins is going to be able to do. Now you want to see a little bit more consistency out of it. He's looked very, very good thus far this spring. And he was one of those guys that we highlighted yesterday as far as the Padres being a demon factory as far as pitchers are concerned. So it's off to a very, very good start for him without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, it just adds to the depth that you have in this bullpen. The depth that you have in this organization. But that was the depth that they had as part of the organization over the summer during the trade deadline. That was the area that was loaded while you could potentially move a bullpen piece to a starting piece. So bullpen's lights out. It's definitely a strength. It's definitely the main strength of this team. We'll see how the Padres respond in the rest of this game against the Cubs. They're down 4-2. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. Coming up next, Tony Gwynn. Oh, not really Tony Gwynn yet. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, Gwynn and Chris. Setting us over the Sports Station 97 through the Fan.